Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 1 of our story. If you like this what if story and want to see part 2, let me know in the comments below. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, check the description for more great content and my playlist. This story was posted by 𝐿𝐼_Brownie on Wattpad. Now, let's start. When Izuku was young, he learned that life wasn't fair. In a world where over 95% 𝐂𝐻 the population have quirks, he was born quirkless. Still, he pushed forward chasing his dreams. While in middle school, he was bullied by his childhood friend. But it never stopped him from doing the right thing, standing up for the weak or his beliefs. This often left him beat up, but he never stopped chasing his dreams. This worried his mom. 𝐿𝐼 Midoriya would see her son come home beat up. She even tried to convince him to give up on his dreams and go after something he could achieve without needing a quirk. But he never gave up, so every night she prays for him. 𝐿𝐼 I get down on my knees to pray to whatever God that will listen to my plea. 𝐿𝐼 I get down on my knees to pray to whatever God that will listen to my plea. Watch over my baby Izuku, he is always putting himself in harm's way. I don't want to lose him, please just watch over him, keep him safe. As I finished my prayer, I get up to prepare Izuku's lunch for tomorrow. Little did she know that her pleas were heard by Bahamut, god of good dragons and justice. Little did she know that her pleas were heard by Bahamut, god of good dragons and justice. Pleased with the honest longing of mother worried about her child, he decides to meet this child, to see if he is worthy of his true power. Bahamut leaves his lair to see this boy and judge him, in hopes of a worthy candidate to receive his power and not another failure. Author: we know the canon. Fast forward to his last few months of middle school. Izuku: Mom, I'm off to school, I'll see you later. As I'm walking out the door, I hear my mom say, okay baby, please take care of yourself. As I'm sitting in my seat thinking about a new hero whose quirk allowed her to grow to the size of a tall building, when I hear my teacher say, I know you all want to go the hero track. Katsuki Bakugo Kaken tells the teacher not to lump him in with the rest of these losers. This hurts me the most because I'm the only one that doesn't have a quirk. The rest of the class just gets sessed off at him. He now declares he's going to be the first and only person from this shitty school to get accepted, and that he is going to be more famous than the #1 hero All Might. When the teacher said, oh Midoriya, you applied for UA as well. I saw the look of rage from Kaken and muttering Deku under his breath. It's what he called me when we were young, and the name stuck when he heard that. The rest of the class just laughed at me, not to my surprise. At the end of class, Kaken and his goons surround me and once again let me know what my place is by threatening me, calling me Deku, meaning that I'm worthless, and taking my future hero knowledge book. Kaken uses his quirk to burn my book and he threw it out the window. Then he tells me that if I really wanted to be a hero, I need to go up to the roof, then jump off and pray that when I'm born again, that I have a heroic quirk in my next life. Feeling depressed, I go get my book that landed in a puddle. The book looked like I felt ruined. As I walked home, I decided to walk through the woods. It always cleared my mind and made me feel better. I feel myself being drawn to this cave. I feel a presence, not a mean one, but I feel power coming from this cave, and I go to the cave and I call in, hello, is there anyone in here? As I step into the cave, I feel the power and am drawn into it. As I continue in, lights start to turn on the cave wall. They were little fires leading me in, until I see a set of eyes larger than size of basketballs and blue-green in color with cat-like irises. I felt them not looking at me, but I felt like they looking through me. As I dropped to my knees feeling overwhelmed by this presence, I start to sob and I don't know why. Bahamut Po6 have been watching this child for a few months now, and I find him fascinating to watch. He stands up to people stronger, faster, playing better than him in combat just to get beat up. But instead of giving up, he continues on. And now he is in my lair as I study him, looking into his soul, looking for the hate, the anger, rage of a child that is constantly abused and found none. I found a child that finds the positive in everyone, to include those that don't deserve it. As he weeps in front of me, I ask, why do you seek power? Is it to best your enemies? Or is it to defeat your rival? Answer me, child. Izuku Po6 hear the eyes speaking to me, but I don't hear it in my ears. It's like it's broadcasted in my head. As I begin to answer, I stop and I ask myself, why do I want power? Is it to be like everyone else? Is it to be like my idol All Might? As put my mind on the question, I'm snapped back by the voice saying, answer me, child. And I blurt out, to protect those who can't protect themselves. To be a pillar of hope for the weak and a symbol of fear for the wicked. I want to save people. Bahamut POVAs. I continue to search his soul for deception, greed or just malice. I find none, and I find his answer very satisfactory. I continue to look upon the child, and now I allow him to see my smile, which made him flinch back a little to my surprise. Normally when something is bite-size it just runs before I get any closer. I asked the child, why didn't you run when you saw my mouth? Izuku PO6. Here the eyes with the very scary mouth with teeth that looked like they would shred an armored car with no problems. I answer him because if you really wanted to eat me I couldn't get away fast enough not to get caught. Plus I don't feel that from you, to be honest. When I walked in here I felt power and peace at the same time. And when I saw your eyes I felt conviction, pride, strength. I guess that's why I began to sob for no reason. Bahamut POV. The child replied, all I could do was chuckle aloud. He really was a strange one. At this point I allowed him to see my entire face and told him who I was. Bahamut POV. The child replied, all I could do was chuckle aloud. He really was a strange one. At this point I allowed him to see my entire face and told him who I was. I deemed him worthy of my power and warned him about allowing it to corrupt him. It has happened in the past and I had to go back and crush them for abusing my power. But right now your body can't handle my power, so I'm placing a mark in your body that will strengthen your body in time and allow you to use my power. I lift my claw to his head and he blacked out due to the pain, which I quickly heal. When I told him I was placing my mark in him, all of his bones have my mark engraved on them. They begin the process of building his body to handle my power. As I leave the lair I look back upon one last time and smile. I want to meet the child's parents and I leave. I know this was long, but I wanted to get the backstory right before I continued. That was engraved in all of his bones. Izuku POV. The last things I remember was the dragon head appearing in front of me and it began to chuckle, which made everything in the cave rumble. Now I know why he spoke into my head and didn't just speak. I think I would have gone deaf. Then his claw touched my head and an explosion of pain throughout my body. I wake up in the middle of a field in the woods I was walking in, wondering was this all a dream? But it felt so real. But I don't feel any pain now, and I remember him saying something about leaving a mark on me, and I take off my shirt looking for a mark. Nothing. I decide to go home and take a better look. So I take a shortcut home. It goes through an alley under a bridge, but it will save me about 20 minutes. 𝐒𝐭𝐻 PO6M in the middle of cooking dinner and I hear a knock on the door. 𝐒𝐭𝐻 PO6M in the middle of cooking dinner and I hear a knock on the door. A tall man with jet black hair with a flash of silver at his temples, wearing what looked like a cloak that dragged on the ground, asked me if I was Miss Midoriya. I said yes and asked him, how can I help you? The man was very handsome and the silver added to his features. He smiled at me and said, it's about your son. I go into panic mode and ask if he is all right. The man assures me that he is fine. He asked me if my husband was around and I told him no, that he works abroad. He raised an eyebrow that made my heart flutter. He complimented me on how well I raised my child. And they gave me a warning. Bahamut PO6 was impressed that she was alone in raising this child. I told her about how kind he is and I warned her about his future. Your son has the heart of a dragon, and when he begins to come into his true strength like any child, he won't be able to completely control himself. She cuts me off by saying, 𝐿𝐭𝐻 PO6, I don't know what you're talking about. My son doesn't have a quirk. I think you have the wrong person in mind. Then he just smiles at me. Bahamut PO6 assure you that we are speaking about your child. When his body can begin to control his power, he will go through some changes. You must continue to nurture this child during this time. He will begin to deal with things that will begin to change him. Things like pride, knowledge, love, fear, and his first CYCL of going into heat. And that when he goes into his first heat, that he will become territorial and girls will be drawn to him. 𝐿𝐭𝐻 POV. I don't understand fear. His first heat CYCL. What do you mean? He isn't an animal, he won't go into heat. Bahamut POV. Once again, all I could do was smile and assure her that this would happen, and when the child starts to feel like he is going to lose control, that he needs to go deep into the woods to calm down. If he could find powerful heroes to go with him, that would be even better, but if they couldn't calm him down or stop him, you need to take hold of this pendant and call my name Bahamut, and I will calm the child down and help him get past the problem. I reach out and give her my pendant. I say goodbye and walked away. Then I leaped into the air and spread my wings and begin to change back into my regular form as I fly away. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 the man told me his name, which was odd, but I committed it to memory, and he reached out and hands me a pendant that looks old and expensive. It looked like it was made out of gold and silver. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 the man told me his name, which was odd, but I committed it to memory, and he reached out and hands me a pendant that looks old and expensive. It looked like it was made out of gold and silver. Before I could say anything, he turned and walked away. I couldn't help but to watch the man as he walked away, and his cloak opened up. It wasn't a cloak, they were wings. He went up in the air, and instead of getting smaller as he flew away, he got larger. I fell back out of shock and fear. By the time he got to the clouds, he was the size of a city block and bigger than my apartment building. I managed to close the door to my apartment, and then I passed out. 𝐒𝐿 I was walking home. I get a feeling something's not right, but chalk it up to my odd day so far, and I put a smile on my face as I think of what would All Might do. As I continue forward, I didn't hear a slime monster coming out of a manhole cover. I turn in time to see it pounce towards me. In my head it registered like slow motion, but my body just couldn't move out of the way fast enough. It began to wrap itself around me, and I begin to panic. Then slime begins to try to force itself in my mouth, saying that it was going to control my body and escape using me as a meat suit. I see the manhole cover explode for the ground, and I see a familiar silhouette. It was All Might. Author: at this point it goes canon until 𝐒𝐿 gets home to a very scared and confused mom. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 as I watch the news waiting for my son to return, I see him and his childhood bully on the news being saved by All Might. As he entered the apartment, all I could do was hug him, remembering what Bahamut said to me. Out of fear, I asked him how he was doing after everything he went through. I thought he would be afraid, but he just smiled and said he was fine, just tired. As he smiled, 𝐒𝐿 after being smothered by my mom, I ate and went into my room thinking that starting tomorrow I was going to begin my training with All Might, and I drifted into sleep after my long day. I had crazy dreams of dragons and All Might. I was the dragon, and All Might and my mom were riding my back. 𝐒𝐿 I have been training with All Might for the past 2 months, and it has been nothing but hell on my body. I'm in pain every day. My mom said that I look like I grew a few inches, and she was right. I grew 3 inches in 2 months. I guess that's why my bones hurt so much. But I am improving, but it's not happening fast enough, not if I want to be like All Might. I also train on my own to get to my goals faster. While running behind All Might, who is on a Segway with what he called a light safe about 200 pounds, my body just gives out. All Might PV as 𝐒𝐿 has been following me. I have been impressed by his physical and literal growth. I think he about 2 to 3 inches taller, and his analytical skills are also impressive and only seem to be improving. All of a sudden I hear a crash. I turn around and see young Midoriya on the ground. He looks spent. Get you want to be plus ultra, right? I get off my Segway and take a better look at him. He's been overdoing it. I look at him and tell him, you're not following my routine, are you? And pick him up. 𝐒𝐿 All Might picked me up, telling me I'm overdoing it. I tell him I need to improve, I need to be as good as him. My mind is a buzz of ideas on how to improve, but my body just can't keep up with it right now. All Might POV as I'm holding young Midoriya, I realize he is heavier than he looks. I remind him that I made that list with his body in mind and we're going to get back on track and follow my schedule. 𝐒𝐿 it's exam day, and I just moved the final piece of litter off the beach. It was a freaking truck and I was able to move it on my own. 𝐒𝐿 it's exam day, and I just moved the final piece of litter off the beach. It was a freaking truck and I was able to move it on my own. As I finish moving it, I get on top of it and scream a primal scream, one of pride, of triumph. And then I collapse. All Might POV as I get to the beach, I hear a scream. It was 𝐒𝐿 on top of a small truck screaming. I look at the beach and it was spotless, no trash on it at all, and not just in the area I told him to clean. He cleaned the entire beach. This was more than I thought he could manage. Once again, this child has proven to me what he is capable of when given the chance. I look over to him and see him collapse. I turn into my muscle form and catch him. He looked at me and asked me, did he do well? Is he worthy of my power? I well in pride and say yes, that he more than deserves it. I pluck a piece of hair off my head and tell him, eat this. You need my DNA so you can inherit my power. 𝐒𝐿 this isn't what I thought how this was going to happen. I thought he would touch me and I would glow or something like that. Not eating a piece of hair, gross. I take the hair and eat it. And I don't feel any different. He tells me that I have to let it digest. Now I have to run if I want to make it to the exam on time. Author: what 𝐒𝐿 and All Might don't know is that thanks to the dragon seal on 𝐒𝐿's bones, this amps up All Might's power, and 𝐒𝐿's bones start to reinforce themselves more to try to handle the added power now starting to flow into him. Izuku POV. I get to the exam area and I see Kaken and he looks at me with disgust as he walks by me. It's better than what he used to be like. Oh well, it's time to take the test and I trip. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 POV. I see this boy, he's kind of cute and he trips. I use my quirk to stop him from falling and I apologize for doing that. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 POV. I see this boy, he's kind of cute and he trips. I use my quirk to stop him from falling and I apologize for doing that. Tell him that it would be bad luck to fall on your first day. I introduce myself and wish him luck and turn and leave. Izuku POV. A girl touched me to keep me from falling and she told me her name was 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲. This is the first time I spoke with a girl. He never spoke. I need to hurry. As I find my seat, I'm next to Kaken as the hero present MIC begin to talk. I start to fanboy. The next thing I know, tall boy gets up and tries to correct present MIC and then looks at me to complain about my muttering. Present MIC continues. He talk and finishes his talk. As I begin the written exam, I finish confident I did well. They now take us to a mock city. I still haven't gotten a single point. I hear a very loud rumble and the ground starts to shake as the rest of the hopefuls run past me. I hear a scream. The girl that stopped me from falling is pinned down and before I could think, I start running towards her and I leap towards the giant robot, screaming smash as I punch it in what should be its face. 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 POV. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I tripped and now my leg is trapped under a rock and I'm going to get crushed by a giant robot. As I look, everyone is running away as I cry out in pain. Everyone but the boy with the messy hair. He is running towards me and he jumped. Holy see, he jumped about 4 stories up and punched the robot and blasted it back. He looked so cool, so fearless. Is he falling? Think 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲. I use my quirk to free my leg and crawl on top of a broken robot and use my quirk, pushing my limits to get to the falling boy. As he starts to fall past me, I slap him using my quirk and floating him down. As I land myself, I overdid it at start to throw up. Izuku POV. I see the girl that saved me. I'm glad she's safe, but I need at least 1 point. I shout out that I need to get at least 1 point. Present MIC yells, time's up. I failed. My body is shattered. I failed. All might I fail myself and drift to unconsciousness. 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 POV. How could someone so strong get no point? It doesn't make any sense. Why did he stop to save me? I need to make this right. The rest goes canon. Izuku POV. I tried to call All Might and he didn't answer. I can't blame him. I guess he didn't want to see his failure of a successor. My mom is looking at me very concerned. 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 POV. I've never seen my baby looking so down in the dumps and I remember the warning Bahamut gave me. So I approach him and ask, is he okay? He looked at me and said yes. I think that I need to warn him. I said, Izuku, we need to speak. Izuku POV. I look at my mother when she asked me if I was okay. Now she said we need to talk. Now she looks worried. 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 POV. I start with the talk, asking him, has he been feeling? Does he feel any different? Then I start with the warning that Bahamut gave me. He begins to look at me like I've lost my mind, and who could blame him? I left out to part that the man jumped into the air and changed into a dragon. I think they would try to get me locked up. Please baby, just trust your mother on this. Promise me. Izuku POV. My mom tells me that when I start to feel like I'm going to lose control, that I need to go deep into the woods to calm down. If I could find powerful heroes to go with me. Does she know about All for One? She continued on and made me promise her that I would heed her warning if I ever got to that point. 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 Izuku, I'm going to get the mail. I'll be right back. I wonder if I'm going a little overboard warning him like that. He's always been a positive child, but that man's warning puts a chill down my spine. Izuku POV. I go to my room and begin adding weight to my dumbbell, getting ready for my daily routine of arm workouts when my mom shouts, it's here. It finally came in and hands me a letter from UA. Author. It goes canon until he enters the just after the Eraserheads exam. Izuku POV. After another big scare, I thought I was getting dropped from the hero course. I see Ida as I walk out the school and I hear a voice call out to us. It was 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 asking us to wait. She called Ida by his name, then called me Deku. I instantly tell her my name and how I got called Deku. 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐲 POV. I apologize for calling him Deku and told him it gives me a can-do feeling, in which he just turns red. It's kinda cute on him. I ask if I could join them on their walk home and they agree. Izuku POV. After she told me Deku gave her a can-do feeling, I said, Deku it is. She is just really cute and the first female that has given me any kind of attention. So when she asked can she join us, I said yes. And the 3 of us headed to the train station. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 POV. A week later, 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 and I have been spending more and more time together. She was my partner in the combat scenario versus leader and 𝐭𝐵𝐻𝐿, which we won. That still makes me happy to say. I have befriended most of the class minus 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿, of course. But I find myself enjoying my time with 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. She's cute. I just don't know how she feels about me. But little did I know that 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 had different plans for me as we continue with our classes. Bakugo POV. That damn nerd is getting stronger. I need to find a way to put him in his place and show him that he doesn't belong. Not just that he doesn't belong, he never belonged. I don't know how he got his quirk, but I'll find a way to hit him where it hurts. Bakugo POV. That damn nerd is getting stronger. I need to find a way to put him in his place and show him that he doesn't belong. Not just that he doesn't belong, he never belonged. I don't know how he got his quirk, but I'll find a way to hit him where. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 POV. As we're in class, Mr. 𝐈𝐵𝐿𝐴 told us we're going on a class trip TP practice rescue training. Once we got to the USJ, we met up with Pro Hero 13 and then everything that could go wrong did. Villains, and lots of them. One, the boss, I guessed, had a lot of hands on his body and one that covered his face. As they came through a warp gate, Mr. 𝐈𝐵𝐿𝐴 told us to stay back. There were real villains, and even after I told him he didn't stand a chance, that this is not the type of fighting he did. He told me, if you're a one-trick pony, you'll never be a pro, and jumped straight into the fight. As I watched in awe of how Mr. 𝐈𝐵𝐴, I mean Eraserhead at this point, was handling himself, but I knew it was a matter of time before they wore him down. We tried getting a hold of any emergency law enforcement, but all signals were blocked. The next thing I know, I was swallowed up in a black mist and dropped into the water. Where a villain that looked like he was half shark was coming to eat me. When I felt something wrap around me and Tsuyu called out my name. It was her tongue, and she was holding Mineta as well. She kicked the villain in the face and with her tongue placed me in the boat. The next thing I know, Mineta got slammed onto the boat. He probably did something pervy again. Tsuyu POV. I saw Midoriya about to be eaten. I grabbed him with my tongue and kicked the villain in his face. As I placed Midoriya gently in the boat while Mineta placed his head in my melons and said they were nice floaties. So I slammed him into the boat close to where I put Midoriya and climbed up. I asked them both what is our plan and was surprised with how fast Izuku came up with one that best used our quirks. He even took into account where all of the villains were. He even went as far to use himself as bait. I could tell he was nervous, but it didn't stop him. I'm kinda impressed with him. He really is amazing and still very humble. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 POV. Tsuyu asked what was our plan, so I asked about their quirks and came up with a plan using me as the bait. Once we all agreed. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 POV. Tsuyu asked what was our plan, so I asked about their quirks and came up with a plan using me as the bait. Once we all agreed. I jumped off the side of the boat and yelled. It worked. All of the villains were staring at me, so I flicked my finger and screamed, "Now Tsuyu," and she leaped once again holding Mineta and grabbing me with her tongue, taking us towards the shallow water as Mineta starts throwing his sticky ball at the water towards the villains. We made it, but as I thought, Eraserhead was in trouble and so were we. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 POV. After we were saved by All Might and the rest of the staff, life resumed as usual. Mr. 𝐈𝐵𝐴 came to work looking like a mummy and told us about the sports festival that was coming up. He told us how important it was to do well and that we needed to train hard for internships that could set us up in the future. During this time we start to train. Even though I'm training hard, I still squeeze in some time to see 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. Even though all we did was train together, it was still nice. And the day finally arrived. We were put in a large waiting room to wait to enter the sports arena. At this time Todoroki declared a challenge to me and told me how he was going to beat me in the festival. I replied by telling him I know he's better than me, but I'm going to win. Bakugo POV. Why is Todoroki challenging Deku? I'm better than he is, and this is sing me off. I also noticed that round face girl and Deku get along really well. This gives me an idea. I snatch her away from him before he even has a chance with her. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 POV. After we all walked into the arena and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 declared he would win, we lined up for the race. I'm nervous, but I think I have a chance to win. As we got the signal, I begin running. For all that I'm worth, I still don't have control over my power, so I'll wait to use it. Todoroki used his quirk and now I'm trying not to fall, but I'm still making good time. Then robots appear and Todoroki freezes them and takes off. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 takes off using his quirk along with a few other students. But my class for the most part is plowing forward. I grab a big piece of metal about as tall as me and use it to destroy a robot that targeted me. Then I hear a cannon. Momo made one with her quirk and destroy the robots like nothing. I keep the metal with me and begin to chase the race leaders. All Might POV. It was smart of young Midoriya to destroy the robot with that piece of metal, but why is he still running with it? Doesn't he realize how heavy that is? But still he is starting to catch up to the front runners. Great, now going across the gauze with the metal strapped to his back. What is he thinking? I just hope he completes the race and moves on in the tournament. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I finish the gorges. Now I'm up to a minefield. I start to use the metal on my back to dig up the mines and make a pile. I put the metal in front of me and jump on the pile. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I finish the gorges. Now I'm up to a minefield. I start to use the metal on my back to dig up the mines and make a pile. I put the metal in front of me and jump on the pile. I'm launched past everyone like they were standing still. AMD win the race. I look up to where I think All Might is and raise my hand in victory and start to sob. The cavalry battle was next. 𝐒𝐭𝐲 and my joined me and we made it through the next match. Bakugo POV. That DM nerd, first he beats me in the race, then I couldn't get his headband and he still made it to the next match, and that girl was on his team. Yeah, that sealed the deal. I'm going to get her. They finally posted who I'm going to fight. Who the hell is 𝐒𝐭𝐲? 𝐒𝐿 POV. My first match is against 𝛛SO. As I step into the ring he provoked me and I spoke. He asked me to walk out of the ring and I did. Just as I was getting ready to step out of bounds I saw eyes looking at me. 𝐒𝐿 POV. My first match is against 𝛛SO. As I step into the ring he provoked me and I spoke. He asked me to walk out of the ring and I did. Just as I was getting ready to step out of bounds I saw eyes looking at me and a dragon outline behind them. My fingers moved on their own. I snapped out of the mind control and tossed 𝛛SO out of the ring. Next is Todoroki. As I get back to where my class is and watch the rest of the matches, it was 𝐒𝐿 turn against Kaken. She helped me out. It's time to return the favor. 𝐒𝐿 POV. Deku walks into my waiting area and offers to help. He is so nice to me, but I decline the help. I need to do this on my own. I give him my best smile and tell him I'll see him in the semi-finals and leave the room. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I get back to my seat to watch 𝐒𝐿 fight. She did her best but lost. It hurt to see her lose. But for now I need to get ready for my fight. I head to the waiting room and saw 𝐒𝐿 sitting there. She looks sad. It hurt my heart to see her like that. I tried to cheer her up a little but I had to leave. As I walk away I see Endeavor, the number 2 hero, and Todoroki father. After that conversation I go to the arena to fight Shoto. As we fight I notice that he is only using his ice and it's slowing him down. I've already broken most of my fingers by this time. I tell him that it's his power, not his father, and the next thing I know I see flames, a lot of them. Todoroki POV. Midoriya is crazy. Instead of trying to win he is taunting me, but his right. I can be my own hero. I use my flames. Everything around me fades away. All I see is Midoriya. I'm at peace. I'm not my father. As I let loose MT attack I thank Midoriya and I get blasted back by the recoil. I make ice behind me. All Might POV. Young Midoriya, you were trying to save him the whole time. They are charging up. 𝐶ementos put up barriers which were destroyed by young Midoriya and young Todoroki. As the smoke and debris clear, young Todoroki is left in the ring with ice behind him and young Midoriya was out of the ring and left a small crater. The impact should have killed him. I leave for Recovery Girl's office. Recovery Girl POV. Izuku was brought into my office again. I swear he's in here more than every other student. Wait until I see All Might. As I take some X-rays I see something that shouldn't be there. He has marks on his bones. I take a few more X-rays and all of his bones have the same mark. I really need to talk to All Might. All Might POV. I walk into Recovery Girl's office and the starts yelling at me. But when she finally calms down she asked me about the symbol on Midoriya's bones. She shows me the X-rays and all of his bones have them. I think I need to call his mother. Maybe she has answers. Let's get her in here as soon as possible. 𝐒𝐿 POV. As I get to class is see 𝐒𝐿 talking with Mina, Momo, and Tsuyu talking girl things. When I heard 𝐒𝐿 say Kaken asked her out, I felt a pain shoot through my heart. Why him? Hasn't he hurt me enough? I heard the girls giggle and I took my seat and put my head down. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I was jaw-dropped when Bakugo asked me out. I was just going to say no but Mina and Tsuyu said I should give it a try. Momo said we could go on one date and if it doesn't work I could just say no to another date. I told them I had my eye on someone else but I didn't know if they liked me. Mina said that doing this would get the other boy to ask me out if he sees that someone else is interested in me. So I said okay. Bakugo Deku. She said yes, not that I care but I saw the look in your eyes and it told my I won. Mina POV. I looked across the room and I see Izuku looking devastated. I think we just messed up big time. Izuku is such a nice guy. I think I need to talk to Tsuyu and Momo. I think Izuku might need to talk. I walk over to Kirishima and ask him what does Midoriya enjoy doing. Kirishima Povmina walked up to me asking me what does Midoriya enjoy doing. I tell her he loves anything All Might and he belts out the songs while in the shower after gym. He's been looking down. I was going to talk to him to see if he's alright. Mina B, thank you, but I don't think you guys can help this time. Let us handle this one. You said he can sing. I have an idea. I walk over to Momo and Tsuyu after class and tell them about Izuku and how he's been looking so down and we should take him out to karaoke. They agree and I approach him and ask him. Izuku POV Mina asked me to go karaoke with a few friends. I tried to say no but she talked me into it. I just want to leave. Not just the school, I want to leave everything behind, leave the area, start new somewhere else. But I agree and I text my mom to let her know I'll be late. I go with Mina. I see Momo and Tsuyu. I ask where is everyone else and they told me it was just them. Mina POV I got Midoriya to agree and I had to threaten Mineta with melting his ball to leave us alone. We get into our booth and I pick my song first, My Radio, my LL Cool J. Momo picked I Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. Midoriya picked 2 songs, Tsuyu picked a Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons. Inko PV since Izuku called saying he would be late, I took this chance to meet up with All Might at the school. He sounded concerned about something they found on Izuku. I headed over to the school and met up with them in the nurse's office. All Might POV Inko walk in and I asked her to sit down. I saw the look of concern on her face so I let her know that her son was all right but we found a strange marking on his bones. Recovery girl showed her the x-rays and she turned pale when she saw the marks. Inko POV I saw the x-ray and I knew instantly what it was. I reached in my shirt and pulled out the pendant that Bahamut gave me. The marking were exactly the same. I felt my BLD run cold. Bahamut is real, his warning is true. I look at All Might and ask where's my baby? I need to see my baby. All Might POV I tried to calm Miss Midoriya down. I told her I would personally find young Midoriya but first she needed to explain everything no matter how crazy it sounded. Inko POV when All Might told me this I told him everything to include he left. I thought that would get me institutionalized. But they didn't, they believed me but I could see All Might thinking. Then he looked at me and smiled and said not to worry, that UA would handle it and my baby would be safe. All Might POV not just a dragon but a dragon god. This can't be good but now it's all falling into place. I got online and started researching the pendant and the name Bahamut and my BLD ran cold. If this is correct, young Midoriya is a lot stronger than what I thought. Now I understand why starts muttering how he survived the explosion that threw him into the wall and how he was carrying the armor like it was nothing. I call Eraserhead, Midnight and Endeavor. Then my phone rang. Izuku, I listened to the girls sing and they did a good job but to be honest I'm just sad and not in the mood. When it was my turn I had 2 songs in my head all day so I decided to sing them. First was Sad Song by We Three Kings, the next was Say Something by A Great Big World. I got lost in my world when I sang. I felt the pain of each and when I was done I looked at the girls which were openly crying at this point. Great, I made them cry too. I need to leave. I tried to say sorry and just got tackled by the girls. They held me and told me sorry. I apologized to them and left. Girls PV we listened to Midoriya pour his heart out in his songs. He was lost in them. I don't even think he remembered we were in the room with him. We looked at each other after the first song and we had puffy eyes with slight tears in them. After the second song we were done, we were crying with him. We tackled him to try to squeeze the pain out of him but he apologized to us for bringing us down then left. Izuku, I called All Might and told him to meet me at the woods at the outskirts of town and I ran for all I was worth trying to get there as fast as I could. As I got to the woods I saw All Might, Eraserhead, Midnight and Endeavor. All Might POV I saw young Midoriya running this way and he stopped right in front of us and said he needed to get deep into the woods and began to run again, so we followed for about 30 minutes and I put my hands on his shoulder and asked him to let it all out. Big mistake. Izuku POV as I began to talk the pain became unbearable. I felt rage, nothing like I ever felt before, and yell out, why did he have to step on my pride? I lost my train of thought and they started to shrink. All Might POV I hear young Midoriya yell, then he was surrounded by fire and he was a dragon. He was about the size of an apartment complex and his wingspan was massive. I yelled to Eraserhead stop him and I didn't expect his reply. Eraserhead P it's not a quirk, it's a mutation, I can't stop him. All Might POV not good. Eraserhead Midnight Endeavor scatter, we need to calm him down, not hurt him. 𝐿 POV Midnight and Endeavor all might jump in different directions. My quirk won't stop him and my capture scarf will barely go around one leg. Forget about both. I need to fall back some and figure something out. Endeavor PV, I think a quick knockout would work. His scale should protect him some as I launch 3 devastating attacks at its head and nothing, not even a singe for my effort. I yell out to All Might to try and punch him and that my hard attacks did nothing. All Might PV, this is bad. I heard Endeavor and gave young Midoriya a Texas smash and nothing. I didn't even dent his scale. Izuku PV, I see All Might and Endeavor attacking me. I barely feel anything. I don't see Eraserhead and Midnight but I smell them. I know they're close. I tried to talk but it came out like a roar. Why is everything going so wrong today? Midnight PV, I hear the dragon roar and the sound wave blew me back and I was hiding behind a tree. All Might threw Endeavor out the way and got launched back at least 1 football field. If that was me or Eraserhead we would have died. I tell Eraserhead I have an idea when I hear Endeavor shout. Endeavor POV, you want to play rough playtimes over prominence burn plus ultra. I let loose with the strongest attack I have and I hit dead in his chest point blank and I barely singe his scales. Endeavor POV, you want to play rough playtimes over prominence burn plus ultra. I let loose with the strongest attack I have and I hit dead in his chest point blank and I barely singe his scales. That was the strongest attack I had. Izuku POV, I see a news helicopter when Endeavor attacked me to try to say stop but another roar came out and I accidentally knocked the helicopter out the sky. All Might bursted out the woods when Eraserhead shouted to All Might and Endeavor about the helicopter. Eraserhead POV, Midoriya isn't attacking us. He seems to be trying to talk but it sounds like something out of a monster movie. I told Midnight about it. I noticed that he isn't looking at us. Oh no, not good. It's a news chopper and he just knocked it out of the sky. I yell to All Might and he shouts to Endeavor and I join Endeavor to rescue the news crew. Midnight POV, I yell to All Might and ask him to throw me at Midoriya's head and I'm going to need his jacket after this. And I rip off my entire top so I can use my quirk at its maximum. I also remove my breathes. When All Might grabs me and throws me at Midoriya's head. All Might POV, I grab Midnight and throw her at young Midoriya's head and I stop attacking. As I watch her fly up to his head. Midnight POV, I grab his horn as I land on his head and try to get my bearing and I get close to his ear and start talking to him. Izuku POV, I see Eraserhead and Endeavor go towards the down news crew and Midnight fling towards my face. I hear her talking in my ear. She's calm and her voice is soothing. I start to relax. I think to myself, I wish she could hear me. To my surprise, she heard me. Midnight POV, I heard Midoriya in my head. I wished I could hear him too. I told him I could hear him. He tried to apologize to me. He didn't want this to happen. I reassured him it would be alright. I asked him if I could walk to his face to look at him and he said yes. Izuku, I see Midnight carefully walking onto my face. I could see all she had on was panties. I would have turned red on another occasion but right now I'm just entranced by her beauty. Her curves, her BRSTS, her scent. I could smell her. She was turned in by this. Then I remember this was all my fault and get sad again. I slowly open and close my eyes. I just want to relax. I could feel my tears and I start to drift off. I stand on my hind legs and gently wrap my arms around Midnight. Midnight POV, as I walk onto his face, I'm slightly turned on by how intensely he is focused on me. I have my quirk at its max. I could put a herd of elephants to sleep with this. But he's just staring at me. I could see a tear well up in those big green eyes. They look like jewels. I can feel his pain. He didn't want any of this. I reach out to wipe his tear. It was the size of a beach ball. But he is relaxing and shrinking. See, I didn't think about that. If I fall from this height I'll die. As he's shrinking I feel him stand up and his front legs start to wrap around me, keeping me from falling. He turns back to normal and his face is now in my chest and he's asleep. And All Might places his jacket over me. All Might POV, as I look up and see Midnight standing on young Midoriya's face. He stands up and wraps his 2 front legs around her while he's shrinking. Now there's young Midoriya holding Midnight. He's asleep and still sobbing. I place my jacket over Midnight, who's just wearing panties at this point. I compliment her on how brave she was by walking on his face like that. Midnight POV, I ask All Might, didn't he hear Midoriya give me permission to walk on his face? The look on his face said no. I told him that Midoriya talked into my head and that he didn't want any of this. All Might POV, Eraserhead called me while I was talking to Midnight. The news crew was alright and we should leave before any other news crews show up. I agree and we leave. Well, go to young Midoriya's house so he wakes up in a known safe place. We hop into my car and leave. Inco POV All Might and a woman wearing what looks like just All Might's jacket. Walk in with my baby sleeping in All Might's arms. I asked All Might what happened. He told me to take a seat and which one was Izuku's room. As he put my baby in his room, the woman began to speak. Midnight P. I'm pro-hero Midnight and a teacher at UA. I apologize about my appearance, but my quirk is released through my skin and I needed almost all of it to be exposed to put your son to sleep. He changed into a dragon and we needed to calm him down, and my quirk puts people to sleep. Inco POV My baby turned into what and I pass out. All Might PO6 Walk in just in time to catch Miss Midoriya, and I took her to her room and laid her on her bed and covered her up and left the room. I asked Midnight to stay with young Midoriya just in case he has another panic attack and starts to change, and she agreed a little too quickly. I told he I would be back in the morning. Izuku PV I slowly start to wake up and I feel like I'm wrapped up in a body pillow. As I reach up towards my face, I feel something very soft and I hear a slight As I open my eyes, I'm laying in bed with Midnight and I'm holding her BST and I freeze. She opens her eyes and looks into mine and said good morning. She also said I'm happy to see you too as she looked down, and I look down and I have a case of morning wood and it's in between her legs. I fall off the bed and I think my entire body turned red. Midnight POV Last night when All Might asked me to stay, I jumped at it. I saw what the boy was packing and I really want to hold him after looking into his eyes last night. I thought of it as a bonus when I woke up with him holding my BRST and a harden between my legs. It was nothing less than 10 inches. It took all that I had just not to mount him. He is going to make some woman very happy and I wouldn't mind getting a piece of that. I watch him fall off the bed and I laugh and get up, moving as seductively as I can. I want him to look at me like he did last night. I put on my breathes and the All Might's jacket and turned to wink at him, then walked out the room. Izuku PV As I watched Midnight walk past me in her thong, I felt the room warm up about 15 degrees, and when she bent over to pick up her breathes I saw her in all her glory and my nose started to bleed. She put on her breathes with a grace that should be illegal. She also puts on All Might jacket, winked at me and left. I think I had drool at the corner of my mouth. I got dressed and walked out of my room. I saw my mom, All Might and Midnight in the kitchen waiting for me. Inco PV Miss Midnight, is there any reason that you locked the door to Izuku's room last night? Midnight P. Yes, I didn't want him to suddenly wake up and change again, so I put the sign on the door and locked the door. It was for all of our safety. But I slept on his chair and my back is sore for it. I saw Midoriya and said, isn't that right? And he turned red and agreed with me. Inco PV Well, that does make sense. I was just worried about my baby and wanted to see him, which reminds me, how did I get into my room last night? All Might POV I caught you as you passed out and thought I should just take you to bed. That came out wrong. I'm sorry. I thought you would rest more comfortably in your own bed. Inco PV I heard what All Might said and I turned beet red. All Might carried me into my room and laid me down in my bed and covered me up. The way he said it before he corrected himself, I almost passed out again out of sheer embarrassment. Izuku POV All Might Midnight, I said, and got down on my knees and put my head to the ground. I'm sorry for yesterday. I didn't mean for any of it to happen, and if I'm expelled from UA I understand. All Might POV Young Midoriya, we know what happened yesterday wasn't your fault. You even followed your mother's warning to the letter. Why would we expel you? Midnight told us about how you didn't mean for any of that to happen and we believe you. Please get up, but we do have a lot to talk about, but I think we need to have that talk at school with Principal Nezu. So for now please enjoy your weekend. Izuku POV As I got up my phone starts to ring. Author across town at the same time this was happening. The girls Okiko, Momo, Tsuyu, Mina, Kyoka and Toru are at an ice cream shop talking about Izuku. Mina POV Oh my god, you should have heard him singing. I couldn't help but to cry a little. I think he was singing about you, Okiko. It all lines up too well. Bakugo asked you out, he goes into a funk. I think he has it bad for you. Tsuyu POV You know I'm not one to pry into people's business, but I have to agree with Mina on this. But if you're not interested please let me know. I think he's cute. Okiko POV I do like him. Tsuyu he makes me feel tingly inside when he looks at me. Okiko POV I do like him. Tsuyu he makes me feel tingly inside when he looks at me. I get flustered. I don't know what to say or do. Mina POV It's love, you got it bad for him. Okiko POV What do I do about Bakugo? I'm supposed to meet up with him in a few hours. Should I cancel? Should I show up and then cancel? Momo POV I would call now and cancel so he doesn't waste his time getting ready. And if you're going to take my Doria to a karaoke, you need to invite us. I would love to hear him sing again. Hopefully he doesn't make us all cry again. Toru POV, was he really that good, or are you girls pulling our legs? Momo POV, I'll put it to you like this. If it wasn't for Mina and Tsuyu being there, I think I would have made out with him. I wished he was singing for me that way. The passion in his voice, I couldn't help but to cry. I notice all the girls blush a little when I said that. Okako POV, do you think he would accept me after I accepted Bakugo's request? Mina POV, I think he would. But if I were you, I would cancel on Bakugo right now and give Izuku a call. I want to hear this conversation. I look at Okako's face after I said that, and she turned pink and pulled out her phone. Okako POV, I call Bakugo first and cancel on him, and he was cessed. He said nobody cancels on him, and I hung up my phone. Then I call Izuku and I asked him out. The first question out of his mouth was, what about your date with Bakugo? I told him I cancelled for someone better, so would you like to go out with me tonight? Bakugo POV, this is bullshit. I have never been dumped before. What the hell caused her to change her mind? Maybe she just got a little nervous about going out with me. I'll wait a while, then call her back. She'll change her mind. I'll snap a few pics and Deku will know that I'm better than him at everything. Izuku POV, I look at my mom and smile and say I have to go. I need to figure out what to wear. I don't even know where I'm going. Oh well, as long as she's there, I know that I'll have a good time. I'm so happy right now she dumped Kaken for me. Ochako POV, I did it. I asked him and he said yes, but where do we go? Am I ready to be alone with him? Do I go with the girls to a karaoke? Do I want to share my first date? But after what the girls said, I don't know if my heart could handle me being alone with him singing to me. If what Momo said is true, it might not be safe for me to be alone with him. Mina POV, Ochako, where are you going to go with him? We have to get you ready for your date. So spill it, where are you going? Ochako POV, I think we're going to a karaoke. I really want to hear him sing. As soon as that left my mouth, Mina and Momo squealed in joy. They got really happy. They also wanted to hear him sing again. I said I was going to call him and let him know. Izuku POV, my phone rang again. Ochako said we were going to a karaoke. I got nervous about having to sing in front of her. The last time I sang, I made the girls cry. I don't want a repeat performance. I need to think of a song for her, and two came to mind. I hope she likes it. Mina POV, I get to hear him sing again. I hope that he picks a happy song this time. I don't mind crying again, I just don't want to ruin my makeup. Momo POV, I can't wait to hear him sing. If Ochako doesn't appreciate him after today, I'll make him mine. I'll make sure he feels how much I would appreciate him. Tsuyu POV, I'm ready to hear Izuku sing again. I'm going to make sure that I look good in case Ochako doesn't realize what she has. I'll make sure that I make him feel wanted. As much as I like the songs he picked last time, I don't want to feel the hurt he had in his voice. Inko POV, my baby is going out. Is it a date? Izuku, where are you going? Who are you going with? Izuku POV, just a friend from school, mom. We're going to a karaoke. Inko POV, what's his name, baby? Why is he turning red? Is it a girl? Izuku POV, I start turning red when she asked for his name. I told her that it was a girl that asked me out. She went into mom mode and the questions started, and there was a lot of them. But the nice part was she helped me get ready for my date with Ochako. I could see she was happy for me. Once I was ready, I thanked her and I kissed her goodbye. Inko, I'm so happy for my baby. He is going on his first date. I want to meet this girl, but I'll bring that up later. For now, I'm just happy for him. He kissed me goodbye when he left. My baby is growing up. Bakugo POV, since round face cancelled that beach. Kirishima wanted to go bowling, so I said yes as I was walking with him when I saw Deku. He was dressed nice too. Where is he going? I told Kirishima to follow me when what I saw made me see red. She dumped me for Deku. You gotta be kidding me. There's no way that could happen. That's Deku she left me for. I started to go after them when Kirishima put his hand on my shoulder and told me let's go. I wanted to blow Deku to Kingdom Come, but Kirishima grabbed my shoulder a little bit harder and reminded me that they are my classmates, and I looked one last time and we left. Izuku POV, I saw Ochako and she was pretty. I followed her inside, and that's I really got surprised. All of the girls were there. I looked at them and they were all dressed nice. I turned red and I was confused. Ochako looked at me and said that they wanted to hear me sing. I said okay, and we walked in. Once again the girls picked their songs and told me that I go last. I listened to the girls sing and they all did well this time. I got to enjoy it. I wasn't depressed. It was now my turn. My first song was Perfect by Ed Sheeran. The next was All of Me by John Legend. As I sang I looked 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ in the eye when I started the first song. As I continued to sing I see her eyes start to swell up, so I look around at the other girls and they had stars in their eyes. Once it was done I asked if they wanted me to sing the other song and they all said yes at the same time. So I sang. I put every ounce of emotion into it and the girls just stared at me. I looked at 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ and she looked at me and turned beet red. Then she jumped on me and gave me a kiss. 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ POV as I watched him look at me as he sang and I melted. How could I not see this before? He sang to me two lovely songs that professed love, and when he was done all I could do was kiss him. As I did everyone melted away. It was just me and him. His lips were soft and he just embraced me. I wished this moment lasted longer. Once we were done I looked around and all the girls were staring at us and I turned beet red. The girls' POV as we looked at Izuku singing to 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ. It was wonderful. They wished it was them that he was singing to. The look of surprise when 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ kissed him spread across all of their faces. They were both happy and sad at the same time. Happy for 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ, sad that it wasn't them. Izuku: it was wonderful. When we were done I took 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ home and when I got home my mom was up and I told her I had a great time. She smiled at me and told me that we had a meeting with the principal on Monday. I said okay and went to my room and drifted off into sweet dreams. When I woke something wasn't right. I called my mom and she started looking at me different. It was kinda like how 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ was looking at me. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 POV my baby called me and when I walked into his room I was overcome by his scent. I wanted to touch him in ways a mom shouldn't. I had to leave this room. I didn't want to but I had to force myself to and I called All Might. All Might POV 𝐒𝐿𝐴 called me saying that young Midoriya is going through his changes. As much as I hate to I call Midnight for just in case. I tell her to meet me in 10 because young Midoriya is starting to go through his changes. She said okay. I run to my car and pull around. Midnight comes out while I'm pulling up and jumps in. Midnight POV as All Might pulls up I jump in and ask what's going on. He looked at me, cleared his throat and said that young Midoriya is starting to go into heat and we need to hurry. His mom is having a hard time staying away from him. I continue to look at him as he pulls into traffic. I said if his mom is having a hard time why am I going? All Might POV in case he changes again you were the only one that could stop him. You might have to put him to sleep. If I have to I'll put you to sleep to keep you from doing anything. I know it not a good position for you but it's the best that idea I have for now. 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ POV I hold the pendant and I think Bahamut name and to my surprise he answered me. I told him my baby was going into heat and how do we stop him? Bahamut POV I was surprised that it took this long for her to contact me. She told me the boy was going into heat and asked how do we stop him? I laughed. You can't. I said the boy will mate or he will change and if he does I'll bring a female to mate with him. 𝐒𝐿𝐴ₐ POV I was jaw dropped. My baby has to mate or he will change. I have to call All Might. Bahamut asked is All Might female? I forgot that I was still talking with him when I thought no. He quickly told me that All Might couldn't help. It needed to be a female. He doubted that All Might could stop him. I thanked him for his counsel and if I had to I would call him. I called All Might and told him what Bahamut told me. All Might POV were going to have to stop at the drugstore first. Midnight looked at me like I was crazy. Midnight POV why do we have to stop at the drugstore? I thought we were in a rush. He looked at me and said I have to get you some morning after pills. I almost choked at that statement. Are you for real? All Might POV I turn a little red before I answer. Yes it's that or he turns and they bring another dragon to mate with him and I don't like the thought of 3 dragons here. If you don't want to I can find another willing person. Midnight POV I guess I needed to be careful what I asked for. Now I got it. I didn't think it would go down like this but oh well. All Might pulled into the drugstore and was in and out pretty quickly. He gave me the bottle and we were back on the road. When we pulled up to the apartment complex All Might was in and out with 𝐒𝐿𝐴 quickly. She had a half-dazed look on her face and locked herself in her room. All Might looked at me and half smiled and wished me luck with young Midoriya. As I left the car and walked into the apartment the scent sent my hormones into overdrive. I just barely remembered to take the pill when I walked in. Midoriya looked at me. His eyes had turned cat-like. I could see he was nervous when I walked up to him. He liked his lips. I have taken lovers before so I thought that a BLWJB and 1 go of sec would be enough. Boy was I ever wrong. Izuku PO6 saw Midnight walk in and she looked good. I wanted to touch her, feel her, be in her. Lemon warning third person P. Midnight walked up to Izuku and promised to help him. She took his hand and placed it on her breast. She whispered to him it will be alright, she was going to teach him how to be with a woman. As he lifted his head slightly she kissed him and something in him shifted. He went from shy and passive to slightly aggressive. He was squeezing her breast not too hard but enough to let her know he wanted more. She broke the kiss and whispered in his ear that he would have to be gentle with other women but she liked it a little rough. As soon as he heard that he practically ripped off her clothing that turned her on. She started ripping off his clothing. Once they were both naked he started to SCK her breast. She started to She pulled back and dropped to her knees and was surprised that there was waiting for her. She had a hard time fitting it into her mouth. Forget about the length, which was impressive, she had a hard time opening her mouth wide enough to fit it in. But she worked it in and he started to To her surprise he grabbed the back of her head and shoved it all in with one go. She couldn't breathe as he was pounding out her mouth. It made her wet when he exploded in her throat. She had no choice but to swallow and her stomach bulged as he pulled out of her mouth. Sweet air, she realized that she came also. She looked at Izuku and told him that he would have to warm the girl up as she laid his face to her PP. He instinctively began to like her. Then she told him how to make it more pleasurable for her and he listened well. Doing everything she asked and she grabbed him by the back of his head as she clenched. Once she was done she was ready. She lined him up with her love hole and told him with most women he would have to be gentle but she wanted it all at once. And he complied. Ramming it into her and she wasn't ready for what was next. He started pounding her out like she was nothing but a meat sack. They changed positions a few times until she was bent over doggy style. She slipped in and out of consciousness a few times until he came. It was into her WMB, her eyes rolled back and she was out cold, her stomach bulged out like she was PNT. As he looked at her there was one more hole he didn't explore. He pressed himself against her butt and slammed it in. She screamed out for a second and passed out again. 30 minutes later and her belly even more swollen, he picked her up as she leaked his fluids out and placed her into his mom's room and covered her up. Lemon ending Izuku. I got up and picked up her clothes and placed them next to her by the bed, went into the shower, cleaned up and got dressed, and there was a knock at the door. When I opened it 𝐒𝐿 was at the door. 𝐒𝐿. As I wake up I see All Might. I asked him how did I get out of the apartment. My next question was how was my baby, then how long have I been here. All Might POV. I assured her that young Midoriya was fine and that he was in capable hands. That she should relax for now, she was in the UA guest quarters and that she was out for a complete day. 𝐒𝐿. Did Uraraka get sent away? I hear Izuku call her but I couldn't leave the room. I was barely able to speak. I was afraid of what I would have said or done. All Might POV. I assured her that it would be alright. That he was with a pro hero and that the girl would be sent away. 𝐒𝐿. Deku opened the door and he shut his eyes and apologized to me. He asked me to leave quickly. But he didn't open his eyes. I asked him was he alright. Izuku POV. No, I'm not, and I don't want you to do something you're not ready for. I care for you too much. Please leave quickly. And I felt a hand on my face. It was soft. I told her that I was in heat and that it would affect her. I didn't want my first time with her to be like this. She asked me to please open my eyes. 𝐒𝐿. POV. I asked him to open his eyes and he did. They were cat-like. When he looked at me I felt different. It was like my world revolved around him. I wanted to stay by his side. He wasn't looking at me, he was looking into me. I asked him if it was okay if I kissed him and he whispered yes. Izuku POV. As I looked at 𝐒𝐿 and my world shifted. It wasn't like with Midnight where it was about lust. I care for her and when she asked if she could kiss me I knew I would move mountains for her. Take care of her and above all else protect her. Lemon warning third person POV. 𝐒𝐿 leans in to kiss Izuku and he pulls her into him. When she breaks away slightly he opens the apartment door for her to enter. He leads her into his room where they kiss again when they break this time. He slowly takes off his shirt and 𝐒𝐿 starts to unbutton hers when she feels his hand on hers and says let me do this for you. As he does she leans in and starts kissing his neck. Once he was done she took it off and she was wearing a pink BR that he quickly asked to remove. And she did. He began caressing her breast gently and skiing on her nipples. He loved her taste and her scent and committed it to memory. She pulled down his shorts and he was wearing All Might boxers that were straining not to burst. She removed her skirt and was now in pink panties. He leaned into her and took them off then gently laid her down. He remembered Midnight's advice about warming her up and he went down on her and began to like her, gently working his tongue around sensitive spots, and then into her she cried out gently as she was worked up to her 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐺. She looked at him lovingly and said it's my turn to return the favor. When she took off his shorts she froze for a second, wondering how she was going to fit that monster in her mouth, but she tried her best. Barely getting the first 4 inches in, she worked it as best as she could, and he as surprisingly gentle with her. When he was getting close he warned her, but she only sked harder, and when he came she swallowed it all, bulging out her stomach slightly. He quickly laid her back and lined himself up with her and slowly entered her. As she wrapped her legs around him she whispered to him, "Welcome home." He reached a blockage in her and gently forced himself past. She gasped in pain, which caused him to stop. She said, "Please go slow," and he did until he was all the way in. They both began to pick up the pace, changing positions until she was on top, riding him like a horse. He warned her he was getting ready to come. She leaned in and said, "Please fill me up," and he slammed himself in her as deep as he could go and exploded, filling her WMB like a water balloon, making her look 4 months pregnant. Her eyes rolled back and she passed out in his arms and he held her close. Lemon ending 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐺. As I finished in her she passed out on top of me and I held her close. I wanted to cover her up, but we were both on top of my blankets. I felt a slight stinging in my back and I had wings shoot out of my back. It felt odd but familiar at the same time. I gently wrapped them around her and began to join her in sweet slumber, not bothering to pull out of her. She did tell me it was my home now. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I call Midnight to ensure that the boy is alright. 𝐒𝐭 is very worried and I hoped that she turned 𝐒𝐿𝐵 away from the apartment. It's not like her to not answer my phone calls. I asked 𝐒𝐭 for the keys to her apartment and go check on Midnight and young Midoriya. When I get to the apartment I enter. I quietly open the door to young Midoriya's room. And he was covered by a leather green blanket and was asleep. But I didn't see Midnight, so I look around until I go into 𝐒𝐭's room and there she was asleep and she looked pregnant. I gently woke her and she looked at me in shock. Midnight POV. I feel someone gently shaking me and as I wake up, it was All Might. I can see the look of concern on his face. As he looked at my swollen belly I looked down also and realized it wasn't a dream. The boy really did a number on me. My legs are numb, both my holes down there hurt like hell and my jaw was sore. That was the craziest sex I ever had. But I'm going to have to talk to him about using my back door without my permission, or at least a warning. All Might POV. Midnight, are you okay? Did another student show up? How long was young Midoriya asleep for? Midnight POV. I think I'm okay, but I can't feel my legs. I don't know about the other 2 questions because I passed out and I think Midoriya carried me and put him in this bed. I slightly lift the covers and look down and think to myself, yup, I'm still naked and leaking him out of me. All Might POV. I tell Midnight I'll be right back as I head towards young Midoriya's room. As I quietly enter, as I get closer I notice that it's not a blanket covering him, it looks like a giant wing. I also realize he's not alone as I see a second head just barely under his wing. 𝐒𝐿𝐵. I woke up ready to impose a lot of violence on whoever thought of sneaking up on me with my woman still on my chest. When I open my eyes I see All Might getting closer to me. I told him to stop where he was because I wasn't alone. All Might POV. Young Midoriya's eyes opened up suddenly and he told me to stop, that he wasn't alone. The tone in his voice let me know he wasn't asking. The look in his eyes were ones ready to defend something until the bitter end. They were cat-like, and as I looked at his wing I could see the scales getting thicker. He was protecting 𝐒𝐿. I take a step back and tell him that I was just checking to see if he was all right. I asked if it was 𝐒𝐿 under his wing. 𝐒𝐿𝐵. Yes, she is, and she is mine. She gave herself to me and we bonded. All Might POV. Not good. How do I separate the 2 of them without causing a fight? And what did he mean by the bonded? So I asked. 𝐒𝐿𝐵 POV. It's like imprinting. I'll always be able to find her and she always be able to find me. I don't have a better way to explain. As I explain this to All Might I feel her nuzzling into my chest. I told him because of this bond I would rather kill myself rather than harm her. All Might POV. Does this happen with all of your lovers? 𝐒𝐿𝐵 POV. No, just one. I'm not sure how I know this, but I do. I can see hesitation in All Might. He is conflicted. So I asked him why was he so conflicted. All Might POV. I was shocked by his question. I had my smile like I always do. It has to be his eyes. I guess he can see emotions as well. So I settle on telling him the truth. Young Midoriya, I'm concerned for both you and the girl. Your mother is also worried about you, and I'm really sure her parents are worried about her as well. Don't forget we also have the meeting with Principal Nezu today. Izuku POV She lives alone in an apartment near UA. As far as her parents, she calls them to let them know she's okay. She did that last night before she got here. I hear her starting to wake up. I kiss her on the top of her head and let her know we need to start moving shortly. She asked for 5 more minutes and I smiled at her. I looked at All Might and asked for some privacy. He nodded and walked out. All Might POV As I walk back into Inko's room I see Midnight struggling to walk. I call Principal Nezu and update him on the situation with young Midoriya and how possessive he has become of Ochako and to inform key staff members. I help Midnight up and asked her what happened to her. Midnight P. Thankfully Midoriya folded my clothing and placed them by the bed. I get dressed, then I struggle to get my legs working. All Might asked me happened. I looked at him and said Midoriya happened and left it at that. I need help getting to the car please. Ochako POV I start coming to my senses as he kisses the top of my head. I feel so bloated and he is still in me. I look up at him and smile. Izuku POV As I kiss Ochako on top of her head she looks up at me and asked if I stayed in her the whole night, and I gave her a wicked grin and reminded her that she told me that it was my new home. She said my blanket is warm and I frown. Ochako POV Why are you frowning? He told me not to get scared. I see that he is concerned. I place my hands on his face and reminded him that I'm his like his mine and there's nothing to worry about. He said okay and I feel the blanket move. It's not a blanket, they're his wings. He has wings. I touch them, they are so nice and warm. Izuku POV She at touching my wings and she thinks they are cool. I think about them going back and they retract back into my back. That left her naked on top of me and I start to get hard again. I see the look in her eyes, they were of lust and pain. I asked her if she was alright. She told me that her love hole was very sore and her legs were numb. I told her not to worry. I lift her off me and lay her down. I dress her, then dress myself, and then I carried her into the hall where All Might is helping Midnight walk. She was still swollen also. Ochako POV As I look at Midnight I see her belly looked even more swollen than mine. I'm going to have to ask Izuku about this. If he did that to her before I got here I think I would have really been in trouble. Why am I not mad at him right now? He slept with her and she looks worse off than I do. I need to talk with her. Izuku POV I asked All Might to stop by Ochako's apartment really quick. And he agreed. As we pulled up I lift Ochako up and dash to her apartment. I dress her very quickly and dash back into the car. Then we got to UA. I see my mom as soon as All Might pulled into the teacher's parking area. I got out to embrace her. Midnight POV I waited for Midoriya to exit the car, then I tell to Ochako please take one of these as I hand her the morning after pills with a bottle of water. You don't want to be a mother yet, do you? I also asked All Might to step out of the car. This talk needed to be woman to woman and he stepped out. I looked down at our matching bellies and sighed. I take it he did a number on you too. Ochako POV Izuku did do that to you. I told her that I'm really sore right now, but he was very gentle. I saw the look in her eyes were a cross between relief and anger. She started to explain what happened. Midnight POV I told her that I was called to try to calm Midoriya down. We were on our way until his mom called and explained what would happen if he didn't mate. We agreed that I should be the one in case things got out of control. I could put him to sleep. Then I told her things got rough and I passed out. Then I began to apologize to her because I failed to keep her away from him. Ochako POV I take a pill and drink some water as I listen to Midnight. Right now I'm kinda glad that she was with him. First I'm afraid to think of what would have happened to me if it wasn't for her. I look at her and thanked her for being honest with me. I also told her that she protected me more than she knows. He was my first and I think things would have been a lot worse for me if it wasn't for her. All Might POV Young Midoriya I need to talk with you for a moment. This week your class is going on an internship program and you're going to train under my mentor, Gran Torino. I also need you to not use your dragon abilities. You're not trained with them and you don't want to lose control. Please trust me for now, just use your quirk. Ochako I am walking with Izuku towards class as I saw the girls waiting for me as I left him to talk with the girls. Suddenly Bakugo walked up to me grabbing my arm yelling at me about dumping him when a fist punched him through the door. I see Deku next to me and going through the door right after Bakugo. Izuku POV I saw Kaken grab Ochako and I saw red. Before I even realized it I punched him as he flew through the door. I went in after him. As I enter through the broken door, I see him knocked out. I yelled to his unconscious body that if he ever touched her again I would break all the bones in his body. I felt a strong hand on my shoulder. It was All Might. He told me to calm down and I start to take deep breaths. When I feel a set of arms wrap around my waist, they were familiar to me, how could they not? I woke up with her in my arms today. She told me she was alright and that I should calm down and go with All Might. All Might POV. I was walking with young Midoriya and then he was gone. I hear a door crash open and see young Midoriya going in a second later. I dash over and place my hand on his shoulder. He starts to take deep breaths when Ochako grabs him from behind. This instantly calmed him down. He smiled at her and kissed her head and began leaving the room, heading to the principal's office. I check on Bakugo and had young Yorozu go get Recovery Girl and walk with young Midoriya, and Midnight is doing her best to keep up with us. The girl's PV. We saw Ochako and we wanted to talk with her to warn her about Bakugo when he came out and grabbed her by the arm. We have never seen Midoriya move so quickly. He didn't hesitate, looked so cool defending Ochako. He shouted his warning and they all wished that he was defending them. Inko POV. As we were walking I see my son's childhood friend grab the girl that my son introduced me to a few minutes ago. Then I see my son attack him. It was quick, over in one hit. My son's attack was ruthless. I'm going to have to talk with him about it when we get home. Thankfully All Might and the girl calmed him down. And we're back on our way the principal's office, where we were greeted by a rodent and an older man in a yellow and white costume. A couple of other teachers walk in as well. The principal was the rodent and he asked me to sit. As I sat he asked me to explain everything in great detail, which I did. Then he looked at All Might and asked for his part. All Might POV. I told Principal Nezu about his first transformation and how Endeavor hit him with his strongest attack, and I hit him with very powerful attacks and it didn't even faze him in the slightest. It was Midnight that finally calmed him down and he changed back to normal. Midnight POV. She explained that Midoriya didn't attack, that he tried to ask them to stop but it came out as a roar. How he spoke into her mind and how he apologized before he passed out. Izuku POV. As I listened to my teachers talk about that night, I noticed the old hero looking at me as if he was assessing me. I know he was All Might's teacher. I hope that he doesn't think any worse of me because of what I have done. Then I get snapped out of my thoughts by Principal Nezu. He told me that I was going with the older hero for a week for some very intense training. I look at my mom one more time before I leave the room for my training. Gran Torino POV. I've been putting this kid to the ringer and I have to admit that Toshinori picked a monster. He adapts quickly because of all of his research on heroes. He is dedicated to his training, always pushing forward. When can control all of his power, he will be every villain's nightmare. I can't believe that this kid is still so humble. That's good. Toshinori picked a good one. I think today we're going out on patrol. As we're en route and Nomu busted through the train, I yell at Midoriya to stay on the train. I attack the Nomu and try to keep it out of populated areas. Izuku POV. I see Gran Torino go after the Nomu and I run out after him. Thanks to my training I'm able to move out using OFA 1 for all and am not breaking my bones. I know Leader is in the area and I also know that the hero killer is in the area. If he keeps to his pattern he'll be in an ally. As I follow my hunch I see Leader on the ground. I push myself harder and attack Stain. He was blown back halfway down the alley. I place myself between Leader and the hero killer and I see the other hero on the ground. He begs me to leave, that it's not my fight, and I tell him that a real hero butts in when it's not his business. I send a mass text to all of my friends letting them know where I am and prepare to fight hero killer Stain POV. I just got sucker punched. I tell him that I will purge the fake heroes and this kid stays, saying what I wanted to hear, that a real hero does what's right even when it's not his business. There is no fame here, just death, and he stayed. That's a true hero, he is worthy. I won't kill him but I will knock him out and kill these two fakes. As I draw my sword I lose sight of him. He is fast. He hits me again and I missed him with my sword. He's good for being so young but I'm going to have to step it up. Izuku POV. I've managed to avoid two of his strikes. My instincts are screaming at me. I think for a second and I start to press the hero killer following my instincts and stay just out of his reach, constantly striking. Then I see Ice trap the hero killer's leg and I strike again, knocking him out. Todoroki is standing by the corner and I thanked him for the assistance. We take his weapons and Leader is finally able to stand and we spoke as he thanked us. As we dragged the hero killer to the street we got surrounded by heroes while they call the police. 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 kicks me in my face and starts to yell at me when he realized we caught the hero killer. Then I see BLD fall onto a hero as him yanked into the air. Hero killer stain PV. As I come to my senses, I see the kid get snatched by a bird thing. I saw it bleed onto a hero. I cut the rope with a knife the kids missed, and I liked the BLD off the hero, cancelling its quirk. As it started to fall, I stab its head, killing it instantly. This kid is one I deem worthy. I will not let him die. The world needs true heroes like All Might. He is also worthy. I will purge the fakes and villains. Hero killer stain PV. As I stare down the fake heroes, I see another fake show up, Endeavor. I release all of my rage, my killing intent. I want to purge them all, especially Endeavor. Endeavor PV. The hero killer is here. As I get ready to attack, he yells at us and I can feel his murderous intent. I froze for a second, and that's when I saw Midoriya strike, punching him in his side, then the back of his head, knocking him out. That kid is going to be a monster. I will never forget the woods when he transformed. He shrugged off my best attack like it was a butterfly, and he took All Might's attack like they was a calm breeze. I asked 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 why was Midoriya over there with the hero killer. 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 PV. It was quick, 2 shots. I was stunned. The next thing I know, Endeavor brings me back to reality by asking a question. As I explain the situation to him, the police arrive on the scene. They detain the hero killer and we all go to the hospital to get our injuries checked out. Once I was done, the chief of police approached me and explained to me what had to happen. I agreed and walked into the room with the kids first. Izuku PV. I was talking with leader and Todoroki when 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 walked in. He told me I was stupid for putting myself in danger and he was going to train me even harder when we returned. Then he introduced the chief of police, who explained why he has to lie to the public about the hero killer. Endeavor will get the credit so we won't get into trouble, but he thanked us, which for me is all I need. Once we were done, I left with 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 and the training was worse than I thought it would be. It was 3 more days of hell. 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 PV. I really put the kid through the ringer this time, trying to teach him as much as I can in a short PRD of time. But this kid really is a monster. He took it all. Even when he was tired, he took it, no complaints. The fighting drills, the movement drills, the blocking drills. Once we were done, as he was leaving, I reminded him to remember all of his training and to keep in touch. Unlike is useless MSTR. Izuku PV. I thanked 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 and limped away, thinking to myself how blocking drills SEK, but thankful to have learned them. I really can't wait to see Okako again. Maybe I might get lucky with her again. A familiar voice called out to me, snapping me back out of my little fantasy. It was All Might. I run over to the car as he tells me to get in, that we needed to talk. All Might POV. Young Midoriya, I want to know why you didn't transform into a dragon while fighting the hero killer. Izuku PV. I didn't expect that question. I thought about it for a second, then I said it's because I don't know how to control it and I don't want to lose control like I did when I was angry. I told him how that power scares me a little and how it compels me to violence when I get upset. All Might POV. I want you to promise me that you're not going to use that power for now. Not until you can control it. I'm glad that you have the forethought to understand that it is very dangerous without proper training. Izuku PV. I promise I won't change into my dragon form for now. All Might PV. Good, I have spoken with 𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐿 and I will continue to train you just like he did. He told me about your progress with One for All. I will now push those limits even further. I told young Midoriya that he was going to be late for class because we need to talk with Principal Nezu. Ochako PV. I was in class talking to the girls about their internship training when Bakugo approached me saying that he was going to kill Deku for punching him. That I was going to beg him to take me back. That Deku probably has a little PP that would never satisfy my needs. I look at him and smile, telling him that if he ever lays another hand on me like that again, I wouldn't stop Deku from crushing him. I also tell him that he was wrong about Deku's PP. I told him that it was huge and that I knew from personal experience. Bakugo POV. When Round Face told me that, I thought, no, this can't be right. He slept with her already. She's lying. She has to be. Deku, you BSC. I will crush you. When I see you I will beat you. I'm going to be number 1 and you're going to fade away. I look at Round Face and tell her that my 7-inch PP would crush Deku's little one any day. And she laughed at me, saying if 7 inches is all I have, I need to leave right now, because after Deku was done with her she probably wouldn't even feel it. I went into rage mode and stomped away. There's no way he's that big. He always goes last into the shower and he's so quick to cover up she has to be lying. The girls we listened to 𝐒𝐿𝐵 tell Bakugo off, and 𝐂𝐵 passed out after 𝐒𝐿𝐵 laughed at Bakugo, telling him she wouldn't even feel him after Deku was done with her. The rest of us went bright red after that statement. We looked at Bakugo storm off mumbling to himself when Mina looked at 𝐒𝐿𝐵 asking her was that the truth. Then 𝐒𝐿𝐵 went bright red. 𝐒𝐿𝐵 I feel my whole body turn red after Mina reminded me that I wasn't alone, that damn Bakugo. I looked at the girls and said yes, it was the truth, all of it. This time it was Momo that passed out. Then Eraserhead entered the class and we all took our seats. Eraserhead I let the class know Midoriya was with the principal and that he would join us shortly. I also told them about their upcoming exam when Midoriya walked in. I also notice all of the females turning red. I told the class I will be right back. I step out and call Midnight to ensure that he is no longer in heat. About a minute later I see her running down the hall and she turned straight into the class. After a few deep breaths she looked at me telling me that he is fine, that I had nothing to worry about. But as I walk back in, the girls are still staring at him and they are all blushing. Izuku as I walk into the class I saw 𝐒𝐿𝐵 and it put a big smile on my face, but as I look around I see that all the girls are staring at me and all of them are blushing. I wonder what is happening. I also feel two sets of angry eyes on me. One I expected Bakugo, the other was Mineta. I don't know why Mineta would be angry with me, but oh well. Eraserhead walked out the class and a minute later Midnight ran in, took a couple of deep breaths and left. Then Eraserhead walked back in like nothing happened, took attendance and left. Then All Might walked in. Izuku All Might walked in looking cool as usual and told us to change into our hero costumes. That we were going to test site Gamma. I grab my case with my costume and I notice as I'm starting to change most of the guys are looking my way, to include Bakugo. Feeling awkward I go to the bathroom stall to change. Once I'm out the stall Mineta comes up to me and asked me if I slept with 𝐒𝐿𝐵. I looked around and I see that he wasn't alone. Kaminari, Todoroki and Kirishima was there also. I feel myself blushing. I guess 𝐒𝐿𝐵 told someone. I'm guessing Mina. She can't keep a secret to save her life. I said yes and Mineta got angry with me. Mineta it's not fair that you get to grope her butt and feel her melons. The next thing I know I'm up against the wall and can't breath. Izuku I snap before I realize it. I have him by his throat up against the wall. I tell him that she is mine and he is not to talk about her body parts, to attempt to touch her in any way that isn't appropriate, or I will break his spine, leaving his lower half of his body useless. I see Kirishima and Todoroki approaching me asking me to calm down. I drop Mineta and tell him you've been warned. Kaminari went to check Mineta while Todoroki and Kirishima walked by me to ask me why I snapped, that it was unlike me to do that. I apologized to them and told them that I don't care if people mess with me. But when it comes to 𝐒𝐿𝐵 I can't control the anger when people try to disrespect her. Kirishima told me that that was manly, but to try to tone it down a little. Bakugo I go up to Mineta and asked him was it true about Deku and 𝐒𝐿𝐵, and he said yes. This really pisses me off now. I thought she was lying. As we head off to test site Gamma I notice that Round Face and Deku aren't sitting next to each other, but he's sitting next to Frog Girl and even she is flirting with him. Round Face is sitting with Ponytail Girl and they're giggling, flashing looks at Deku. This is really getting to me. Then Frog Girl insults me, followed by Kaminari. Great, I'm really going to show them all what I can do. Izuku as soon as we get out the bus All Might tells us that it's a race across the city to find and rescue him. I get pitted against Mina, Leader, Ojiro and Zero. We separated to different parts of the city. I hear the horn and I launch myself up using all of my new training and start racing to the center of the city looking for All Might. Class look at Deku, he's really moving and he isn't breaking himself. His moves look like Bakugo's moves. Izuku I shoot by Zero and I see All Might and pick up my pace and I won, followed by Zero, then Leader, Mina and Ojiro. All Might tells us how well we did and calls for the next round of students. Once the class was done the top 4 was myself as number 1, followed by Bakugo, Todoroki and 𝐒𝐿𝐵. All Might approached me after class telling me about training starting tomorrow. I go to 𝐒𝐿𝐵 and asked would she like to go out tonight. I hear all the girls go and I start to blush. 𝐒𝐿𝐵 Deku come up to me asking me out. All I could do is smile and say yes. I tell him I get to pick where we go when I feel a tug at my shirt. It was Momo. I heard Deku ask 𝐒𝐿𝐵 out and I know that they are in a relationship, but I really want him to sing again. So I asked if I could join them. I happened to have a karaoke booth rented out for tonight. I was going to invite all the girls. They also serve dinner and the mochi is to die for. I know she really loves mochi. 𝐒𝐭𝐻𝐿 mochi. Okay, that sounds great. Then I look at Deku. Is this okay with you? He smiles at me, which makes my heart flutter. Then I realize that Momo is stupid rich. I probably couldn't afford to eat there. When I see Deku looking at me and his smile never faltered, say don't worry about it. He was going to pay for me tonight, being that he asked me out. The girls POV, we yell that it's not fair that only Momo and 𝐒𝐿 get to hear 𝐒𝐿 sing again. When 𝐒𝐿 looked at us and asked would we like to join, we all yell yes really quickly. Mineta POV, Midoriya, you BSC, you're not going to hog all the girls, are you? Us guys would like to go also. Momo POV, I better call and reserve the booth right after this. I need to get it right, and I know what dinner I want to have served, and I know I'll have to special order the mochi for 𝐒𝐿. But it's worth it to hear Deku sing again, and I think I need to have a talk with 𝐒𝐿 about her and Midoriya's relationship. 𝐒𝐿 POV, how did things turn out this way? I wanted it to be me and 𝐒𝐿, but I already agreed to the girls when Momo saved me, saying that the place she rented out was only big enough for 7 people, and Mineta started to cry BLD, calling me a BSTRD again and running away. Bakugo POV, are you serious right now? He is going on a date with all of the girls in our class. This is bullshit. I ask Momo which karaoke are they going to. It was called Karaoke Barn, and it's one of the high-class places that serve dinner and has large private rooms and is very expensive to rent out. I could only afford a 3-person booth. I asked Kirishima and Mineta to join. I'm going to find out what all the fuss is about. 𝐒𝐿 POV, I picked up 𝐒𝐿 for our date. I told her how pretty she looked and that I couldn't wait for us to be alone later. As we took a taxi to go to Karaoke Barn, we get straight to our booth where Momo is already waiting for us. 𝐒𝐿 POV, I see Deku and he looks really nice, and his compliment made me turn red and his statement after that made me turn beet red. Knowing that he had plans for just us later, I know him going to be sore tomorrow. As we walked in, Momo was waiting for us and she asked if she could talk to me alone for a minute. 𝐒𝐿 smiled and said yes. And I stepped out with Momo. Momo POV, I look at 𝐒𝐿 and asked her about her relationship with Midoriya. I know that you already slept with him, but I also really like him. He is a sweet guy and I envy you because I see the way he looks at you. I remember how he looked at you while singing to you. I want him to look at me that way also. That's why I kinda hijacked your date. I understand if you're angry with me, but I just want you to know the truth. 𝐒𝐿 POV, wow, I was shocked. Momo was jealous of me. I looked at her and smiled and said that I truly love Deku, but I wouldn't mind sharing him with her. I told her about my first time with him. I know that his longings are more than I can handle, but let me bring it up to him tonight and I'll let her know what he thinks about it. 𝐒𝐿 POV, as I wait on the girls, I look at my song choices. I know one I really want to sing and am on the fence for the other. 𝐒𝐿 Momo and all of the girls walk in and I get flustered really fast. Is it okay for me to be the only guy here? It didn't register in my head until Mineta said something about it. As the girls sit, I pull out the chair for 𝐒𝐿 and she sits down and I sit next to her. We all start in light conversation, eating our meal before we begin to sing. The girls start to line up to pick their songs, and once again I was told I'm going to be last. 𝐒𝐿 goes first and the song is Alone, restrung by Alan Walker. As I listen to her sing and pay attention to the lyrics, my eyes start to water. Once she finished, I walked up to her, lifted her up and kissed her, a deep passionate kiss. I didn't care who was watching. The girl's POV, that was no fair. Why is she the only one that he looks at like that? OMG, he just walked up to her crying and kissed her. When he put her down, he looked at us and he apologized for crying. 𝐒𝐿 POV, I look at the rest of the girls as I hold 𝐒�l's hand and explain that I was alone a lot as a child, how I was bullied until high school, and now that I have her I no longer feel that way. 𝐒𝐿 POV, looking at Deku as he explained himself, made me cry. I never knew, he always carried himself like nothing was ever wrong. I would have ever guessed that he had it so bad. He walked me to my seat and sat next to me as we listened to the rest of the girls sing. It was fun until it was his turn. Bakugo POV, I was looking through the glass. Why does his room have to be soundproof? I see round face singing. Then Deku walked up to her and kissed her. I want to just blow him up to kingdom come. I'm going to make him regret being born. I go to my booth to join Mineta and Kirishima. 𝐒𝐿 POV, I looked at everyone in the room and said that I was going through a lot of changes lately and this is how I felt sometimes, and to be honest, when I lose myself it shows in my eyes. My first song is Demons by Imagine Dragons. When I was done I looked at 𝐒𝐿 and smiled. I told her that I thought I would always be alone, but I found her and she was the person I would die for. I sang my second song is To Die For by Sam Smith. As I sang I looked into her eyes and she began to cry again. I begin to look at the other girls while I sing and they are just looking at me with tears in their eyes. As I looked at Momo I see sadness. I continue to sing, putting all my emotions into it. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. The girls we look at Midoriya sing his first song and we were kind of confused. As kind as he is, we never would have guessed that he had a dark side to him, but 𝐒𝐿 looked at him like she understood what he meant. But when he sang his second song we were done. Once again the waterworks came out. Why do we bother with makeup? 𝐒𝐿. Once I was done I walk over to 𝐒𝐿 and said it's time for us to leave. She took my hand and we began to leave. When she turned back to Momo and smiled, I won't forget to ask him. I get us a cab and we head to her apartment and she invited me in. Once we were in she started to kiss me. I pull away after a moment, just long enough to let my mom know I'm okay and staying with a friend. Lemon warning third person POV. As they begin to kiss again he lifts her dress off of her, revealing a very sexy underwear set, and he begins to lose it. She looks at his breathes and sees his breathes bulging and pulls them down. Third person POV. As they begin to kiss again he lifts her dress off of her, revealing a very sexy underwear set, and he begins to lose it. She looks at his breathes and sees his breathes bulging and pulls them down. She is smacked in the face with his harden. She begins to kiss it, then she begins to give him a BLWJB, determined not to stop until he comes. Once she started to deep throat him he began to grunt and held her head in place, leaking down her throat, making her belly bulge out. He laid her back and began to explore her love hole with his tongue, make her squeal in pleasure. As she came he lined himself up with her and began to work his way in. As she wrapped his legs around him, pulling him in the rest of the way. He quickened his pace, that changed positions several times until he grunted that he was leaking, and she said please come in me, fill me up with your love, and came in her, making her swell up like she was peeing. Her eyes rolled back as she passed out. Lemon ending 𝐒𝐿. I keep myself in her and roll onto my back and bring my wings out again and I cover both of us up and go to sleep. I wake to my alarm going off and my little Mochi on top of me. As I shut off my alarm I remember that she didn't take the pill last night and start to panic. I woke her up and asked her to take a pill. She smiled at me saying she took it before I picked her up, that she was wanting this also. 𝐒𝐿. I want to ask you a question and please don't take this the wrong way. Momo really likes you and wants to be a part of your life. Do you want to be with her also? 𝐒𝐿. Are you kidding? 𝐒𝐿. No, I'm not. That's why she invited us out last night to ask me if I could bring it up to you. 𝐒𝐿. Baby, you know I love you, right? You're my woman, I don't need other lovers, I have you. The second song I sang spelled it all out for you. 𝐒𝐿. I know that, honey, but you're still hard. I bet it never went down last night and the only reason you stopped was because I passed out. I'll always be your number one, but I'll never be able to completely satisfy you. Not that I won't try, but for me, will you give her a chance? 𝐒𝐿. 𝐒𝐿. I love you. I'll do this for you because I love you, but there's one thing you have to do before I agree to this. 𝐒𝐿. What's that? 𝐒𝐿. I want to meet your parents. I look at the time and panic. I have to meet All Might in 30 minutes. I quickly kiss 𝐒𝐿 and drew my wings back and put on my clothing and bolt out the door, running to my house, changing and running back out to meet All Might. All Might POV. Young Midoriya, you're just on time, get ready because this is going to hurt. 𝐒𝐿. I'm ready, All Might. 𝐒𝐿. I thought I was ready for his training, but I wasn't. I was All Might's punching bag. I tried to use what Gran Torino taught me, but All Might is a whole other level. We trained my attacks, we practiced my defense and went over different types of strategies. Every day for a week, if I wasn't getting beat up by All Might, I was squeezing in time with 𝐒𝐿. But I endured the training. I need to be ready if I'm going to be the next symbol of peace. All Might POV. This is hard for me to do while holding back, but I can see his growth. At this rate he will be every villain's nightmare. But I can't slack off on him, so I push him hard. We do this for the next 5 days. I'll stop the day before his test so he can have 1 day of rest. 𝐒𝐿. POV. He wants to meet my parents. I called my mom and told her about him and she wants to meet him, but my dad is very protective of me. I hope that this doesn't go bad. How much should I tell my parents? I made plans with my mom for the Friday and Saturday after the test. 𝐒𝐿. It's finally time for our test, 3 days of practical tests and our physical test. I'm confident that with All Might's training that I will do well. Once we're at the test site and they drop the bomb on us. We'll be fighting our teachers in teams of 2 and I'm stuck with 𝐭𝐴. This won't be good. We're up against All Might even though the teachers are being held back by weights. I know this will be tough. Bakugo POV, I'm stuck with Deku. I don't need him, I'll beat All Might by myself. It's our turn to fight as he and I start to argue when All Might attacked us. I now understand how is he so scary. He isn't powerful, he is power. Izuku POV, I now understand how much he was holding back against me. As we begin to try to fight, All Might began to beat us like we stole something. I tried to run and he grabbed me and used me as a weapon against 𝐭𝐴. I have to think I need a plan to try to beat him. But I also need to get 𝐭𝐴 on board. But he just won't listen. Then I saw my chance. All Might was about to punch 𝐭𝐴 but I was able to grab him and bolt into an alley. Bakugo POV, All Might was about to hit me again when Deku grabbed me and ran into an alley. I wanted to punch him but if I'm going to pass I need him. We came up with a plan to stun All Might and run. Before we left the alley I told Deku I still owed him for that punch and we attacked the number 1 hero. 𝐒𝐭𝐻𝐿 POV, as I watch All Might give Deku and Bakugo a beating I wonder why Deku hasn't used his wings. Come to think of it, the only time I see his wings are when I wake up in his arms and he has me covered with them. I need to ask him why they could have gotten away if he had used them. Izuku POV, our plan went to hell, we can't keep up with his speed. We were so close to the gate but All Might continued to beat us both like we were nothing but play toys. 1 Izuku POV, our plan went to hell, we can't keep up with his speed. We were so close to the gate but All Might continued to beat us both like we were nothing but play toys. Until 𝐭𝐴 and I started working as a team, then the beatings weren't as bad and we were barely able to escape. But we passed, then we passed out. The next thing I remember, I was waking up in Recovery Girl's office. I looked at my hero costume and it was in shreds again, and when I looked over to see 𝐭𝐴 was still out cold. I got up and asked if it was okay for me to leave and Recovery Girl said I was okay. Momo POV, I was walking by Recovery Girl's office when Midoriya stepped out with his costume in shreds. I didn't see his match but I heard it was epic. I asked him if he needed help and he looked at me and smiled. My heart started to race. I had a hard time thinking straight. He told me that he wanted to talk to me alone. Izuku POV, I tell Momo that I needed to talk to her alone but I needed a little time so I could put my thoughts into words. Plus I was very nervous. I was meeting 𝐒𝐿's parents today. I asked her if she was free on Sunday. There's a park that we could meet up at, then we'll go to a cafe to talk if it's alright with you. It will be just the 2 of us, to be honest, it's a date. Momo POV, I'm in panic mode. I accept the date and run. I need to get everything ready. Izuku POV, wow, she said yes and ran. I need to change and meet up with 𝐒𝐿. I meet up with her and we take the bullet train to her parents' apartment. As we entered their apartment I could tell that they were struggling financially but making do with what they had. 𝐒𝐿 looks like her mother. Her father was a strong-looking man, you could tell he's hard-working. We sat at the table when I looked her father in the eyes and asked for his blessing to date his daughter. The father POV, as I looked at the young man courting my daughter, I asked him, do you promise to take care of her? My daughter speaks highly of you and that you defended her from another student. So also told us that you saved her during the entrance exam. I can see that you're strong, but man to man, promise me that you will care for my only child. If you can do that, you can date her. Izuku POV, I look as 𝐒𝐿, then back to her father and said yes, that I will do everything in my power to take care of his daughter and I would die to protect her. I look back to 𝐒𝐿, who is now beet red, and smile. Mother POV, while my daughter found not only a handsome young man but he is willing to lay down his life for her, so I asked him why. Izuku POV, I told her that her daughter saved me from the loneliness that I was suffering through, that she was my first real friend. I also told her that 𝐒𝐿 also saved me during the exam. They gave me their blessing and set up the sofa for me to sleep on. I thanked them. Her parents told 𝐒𝐿 to sleep in her room and tomorrow we were going out to celebrate. They left and went to their room when she approached me. 𝐒𝐿 POV, why didn't you use your wings during the test? Izuku POV, please sit next to me, I have a lot to tell you. 𝐒𝐿 POV, wow, I didn't see that coming. So you went into a cave and a dragon named Bahamut talked to you and gave you power. Weren't you afraid that he would eat you? What else can you do? Izuku POV, I'm not 100% sure. I turned into a full dragon. Once I know I can pull out wings, my vision also changes how I see people. I can look into them like their intentions. I also know that one of my downsides is I go into heat and can't control myself. I also know that when I found the one for me I bonded with her. She turns pink at that part. Before I forget, please don't tell anyone. Only 6 people know my secret, and until I learn to control it nobody can know. Ochako POV, how do you know I'm the one? I won't tell a soul, I promise. Izuku PV, my whole world shifted that day. I knew at that moment that I would do anything for you. What I said to your dad wasn't bluster, it was the truth. I also spoke with Momo and I'll be meeting with her on Sunday. I'll hear her out. Even if I accept her, you will always be my number one. Ochako P, thank you Deku for everything, for how you treat me, for hearing me out with Momo. You really are a wonderful person. I think I need to go to my room now. I'll see you in the morning. Izuku PV, I see Ochako leave and I lay down on the sofa. I start to think about what she said. I think it's about time I start to learn more about my dragon abilities. But for now I should go to sleep. But I can't. I'm feeling restless knowing Ochako is one room over and I'm not with her. I start taking deep breaths and I can smell her scent. I close my eyes and try to clear my mind and I try to doze off. Ochako PV, I'm feeling restless. Deku's in the living room. I wonder if I could sneak in there and wake up early and sneak back into my room. I go into the living room and lay onto his chest and cover us both up and doze off. Izuku PV, I feel Ochako crawl under my blanket and snuggle into my chest. Her warmth and scent helps me doze off. I start to feel like someone is staring at me and I open my eyes. I see both of Ochako's parents sitting in front of us drinking a cup of coffee. I look down and I see my little Mochi is still out cold on my chest. I feel the red going up my neck onto my face and to the tips of my ears. I can see her mother's grin at my embarrassment. Her father made a throat-clearing sound and my little Mochi's eyes shoot open and her face turns even more red than mine. She sat straight up and I jumped off the sofa and kneeled and asked for forgiveness. The mother PV, she used to do that a lot as a child. I guess she never really grew out of it. Now had you gone into her bedroom, this would be a different conversation. Let's get ready to go out and enjoy the day. Izuku POV, while we were walking down the street a little girl ran into my leg. She was a mess. She wore bandages and a little dress that was more rag than dress. Izuku POV, while we were walking down the street a little girl ran into my leg. She was a mess. She wore bandages and a little dress that was more rag than dress. She had a little horn which was cute on her. I could see she was terrified. I reached out to her and she flinched in fear. I looked at Ochako and told her something's really wrong. Get your parents away from here. My instincts are screaming danger. She nods her head and tell her parent to start walking. The father PV, a little girl ran out of an alley dressed in rags and Midoriya, I guess I should call him Izuku because he is dating my daughter, tells us to leave. I wanted to ask why, but my daughter grabbed my arm and started to pull us and said to trust him. So we walked away quickly and she called one of her teachers. Izuku PV, I slowly reached out to the little girl and she allowed me to pick her up off the floor. While I was kneeling, I take a better look at her and my BLD starts to boil. I can see the abuse she went through. As she hugged me and I felt her fear. A man walked out of the alley wearing a crow-style plague mask. He asked me to give him back his daughter. Something inside me triggered. I picked up the little girl and asked him what he was doing to her. Overhaul PV, are you another one suffering from the hero sickness? She is my child and you need to give her back to me. Children run when they are in trouble and she needs to come home now. Izuku, I don't believe you, but don't worry, the cops and some heroes will be here very soon. We can resolve this issue then. I can feel the child starting to shake uncontrollably. Overhaul PV, listen boy, give me the girl or you will regret it. Izuku PV, I charge up OFA1 for all, ready to strike this man hard when another man came from behind him wearing a different style plague mask and said something. The first guy. When he looked at me and I could see the hate in his eyes saying that this wasn't over. He turned around and walked back down the alley. I now look at the little girl trembling in my arms and smiled at her. It's going to be alright because I'm here to protect you. I've always wanted to say that. I asked the little girl, what is your name? She told me her name 𝐿. I asked her for her family name and she said she didn't have one. 𝐿 POV, no one has ever held me like this. I feel safe and he has a nice smile. Not the fake ones I see every day. He told me he would protect me. Maybe he can help me. When he asks me my name, I give it to him. I can feel my shaking slowly stop. I can feel his warmth and his strength flow into me. I see flashing lights and people start coming at us quickly. I start to shake again. Are they going to take me back to the bad man? Izuku POV, as the police and the heroes arrive, I see Ochako running towards me as well. I can also feel the little girl start to shake again. I hold her tight and tell her it's going to be alright. I asked the police and the heroes to approach slowly so that the little girl could calm down. 𝐒𝐿 looks at me and then she looked at the little girl and asked me what happened. By this time All Might Midnight and Eraserhead were here as well. I explained everything in great detail about the man in the mask, his associate. The warning he gave me and how they left when the paramedics arrived to check and take her. She cried out when they took her from my arms and the paramedics started to get younger fast. Eraserhead used his quirk on her and I took her back and she passed out. Eraserhead, I hear the girl scream when taken from Midoriya and the paramedics started to get young fast. I used my quirk to stop the girl and Midoriya took her back. I looked at him and said, "What have you gotten yourself into, problem child?" 𝐒𝐿, I apologized to 𝐒𝐿's parents for ruining our trip. Her father placed his hand on my shoulder and told me not to worry. That he was proud to see in action the type of man his daughter was dating and couldn't wait for me to become part of his family. I start to turn a deep red as 𝐒𝐿 cried out in embarrassment. 𝐒𝐿, I can't believe my dad said that in front of the heroes, my teachers and the police. I turn beet red as I look at Deku. I ask him if he was going with the little girl to the hospital and if he was, could I join him? 𝐒𝐿, I look at 𝐒𝐿 and said, I don't know how long this will take, but you can join us if you want. We get into the back of the ambulance and go to the hospital. When we arrived, the 𝐻𝐸 started to wake and as soon as she saw me she cried out and jumped into my arms asking me not to let the bad man take her again. As I look down at the scared child and I hug her, trying to will away all of her fear. I can feel her sobbing into my chest. As I hold her I tell her it's going to be okay. 𝐒𝐿 POV, as I look at Deku holding and comforting this child, I can imagine him with our child and what a great dad he would be. It made me fall deeper in love with him. I reach out to them and hug the little girl as well and told her that we would protect her. I can feel her shaking calm down some as she looked up to see me. Hugging her from behind, she asked me who I was. I told her my name and that I was Izuku's girlfriend. Then she asked who was Izuku. 𝐒𝐿 POV, I looked down at her and smiled. I am. Don't worry, you're going to be safe, we both will protect you from the bad man. 𝐻𝐸, I don't know what a girlfriend is, but when he told me that they both will protect me from the bad man I start to cry. I start to feel safe with them, I believe them and I fall asleep safely in between both their arms. Eraserhead POV, I walk into the room with Midoriya and Uraraka holding the little girl in between both of them in a hug. I told them the results of the BLD work they did while the little girl was asleep in the ambulance. She was malnourished, she needed to start a vitamin regimen. I also told them about the man who claimed to be her father, that he was in the Yakuza, that he was a powerful criminal named Overhaul. I also tell them that there's no record of 𝐻𝐸 being his daughter or of her being born at all. Because of her quirk that they couldn't put her in an orphanage. 𝐒𝐿 POV, Mr. Aizawa, is it alright if she stays with me for now? I kinda told her that I would protect her. When I heard 𝐒𝐿 correct me, she said we would protect her. Eraserhead POV, listen to me, Midoriya and Uraraka, taking care of a child isn't easy, it's expensive. I don't think that you're ready for this yet, plus you still have to keep up your schooling. Plus there's a lot of paperwork for you to take care of if you really want this to happen. 𝐒𝐿, please Mr. Aizawa, let us do this, I know we can handle it. Eraserhead POV, okay, let me contact Principal Nezu and see what he has to say, but for now I'll grant your request and start the necessary arrangements. 𝐒𝐿 POV, thank you Mr. Aizawa. Deku, after we leave here I think we should go to my apartment with her, it's only a one-bedroom but we could make it work. 𝐒𝐿 POV, yeah, I like that. After my mother and All Might walking to the room looking at the odd scene of me and 𝐒𝐿 hugging with a child in between us and Eraserhead talking with us. 𝐒𝐿, can someone explain to what's going on here? And who is this poorly dressed little girl that my son and 𝐒𝐿 are hugging? 𝐒𝐿 POV, as I explained to my mom what happened, she looked at All Might and asked him to drop us off at 𝐒𝐿's apartment. As we left the hospital she asked me if I was ready for this. I said yes, that I asked 𝐒𝐿's parents for their blessing and they gave it. We got into All Might's car and I held 𝐻𝐸 in my arms as she slept. We stopped at a store before we got to the apartment and my mom and 𝐒𝐿 got out while All Might and I stayed in the car. All Might, I'm very proud of you, young Midoriya, you never stop amazing me with how kind you are and how fast you have grown. 𝐒𝐿 POV, I smile at 𝐻𝐸 who is snoring in my arms and look at All Might and said thank you. Not too long after the girls get back into the car and we get to the apartment, I put 𝐻𝐸 in the bed and pull out her new clothes and put them in the closet for now. All Might and my mom left and my little Mochi and I are alone for the first time since the test. We sat on the sofa and I looked at her and said I should cancel on Momo for now until we get all this resolved. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 you can't, if you did she would be crushed. I can watch over her while you're out. But you need to tell her about 𝐼 so she doesn't get blindsided. 𝐒𝐿 as we sat there I put my arm around my little mochi and asked her how did I get so lucky. I can feel the effects of today and I start to yawn. I looked at 𝐒𝐿𝐴 and said I'm tired, let's go to bed. After I realized what I just said I start to turn red. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I turn red when he so casually said let's go to bed. I get up and take his hand and lead him to our bedroom. I see him take off his shirt and breathes, so take off my dress and we're both in our underwear. As we crawl into bed 𝐼 starts to whimper and I see Deku grab her and place in between us and he pulls out his wings to cover both of us. I love the warmth of his wings. 𝐼 stopped her whimpering and started to hug him in her sleep and he held both of us in his arms and under his wing. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 as I cover my girls with my wing and hold them in my arms I smile to myself, this is now my family and I will do everything in my power to protect them. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I was the first to wake up. I slightly lift my wing and see my little mochi asleep. I look down a little and I see 𝐼 still asleep. She never did let go of me last night. As I pull my wing back in 𝐼 starts to wake up. Her eyes go wide as she realizes that she is holding me. I ask her is she okay. She told me that she thought she was dreaming and that she would wake up in the bad place again. I told her she was safe and that we would protect her. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 what's a girlfriend? The girl yesterday told me that she was your girlfriend. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 it means that she and I are together. Do you mean the girl behind you? 𝐒𝐿𝐴's eyes go wide as she turned her head slowly and saw 𝐒𝐿𝐴 sleeping behind her. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 yes, she is the one. Thank you 𝐒𝐿𝐴 for saving me yesterday. But the bad man, he'll be back, he won't let me go. He told me that he would always get me. That I would never be safe from him. I was his property and he would kill anyone that would take me away. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 my blood starts to boil when 𝐼 tells me this. I pull her in for a hug and tell her that we would keep her safe. At this time I feel my little mochi start to wake up. She is just too cute. Her hair was a mess as she said good morning. 𝐼 clung to me a little tighter as she realized 𝐒𝐿𝐴 was waking up. I told her that she was safe and that 𝐒𝐿𝐴 would also take care of her. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 are you hungry 𝐼? I can make us some breakfast. I smiled as I watched her holding Deku. She nodded her head up and down and I got out of bed and started to cook. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 okay it's time for you to take a shower and brush your teeth so we could eat. I can see the fear in her eyes with the thought of being alone in a room. Don't worry, I'll be here when you're done, I promise. You can even leave the door slightly open. She nods her head up and down as I show her where the bathroom is. She went inside and left the door open so she could still see me. I start telling 𝐒𝐿𝐴 that once 𝐼 is done I have to shower and meet up with Momo. I hear a knock at the door. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I'll get it. As I open the door I see 𝐒𝐿𝐴's mom and All Might. I quickly invite them in. 𝐒𝐿𝐴's mom asked me if I wanted help cooking and I said yes please. I let 𝐒𝐿𝐴 know his mom and All Might were here. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I put 𝐼's new clothing on the bed. It was a little red dress, a white shirt and a little pair of boots that looked cute together. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I put 𝐼's new clothing on the bed. It was a little red dress, a white shirt and a little pair of boots that looked cute together. As she came out of the bathroom in her towel I showed her new clothes and her eyes got wide. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 is that for me? I never had such pretty clothes before, thank you. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I saw her arms and legs and rage filled me to the point where I started to lose control. I could feel the changes as I looked at 𝐼 again. I saw her differently. I was looking into her and saw even more pain and fear. I called out to 𝐒𝐿𝐴 for her to come here quickly. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 are you all right? Your eyes they changed 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I quickly entered the room and saw Deku looking at 𝐼 and I looked at her and saw her scars. I looked back at Deku and his eyes had changed, they looked like cat eyes. I quickly hug him and I feel him taking deep breaths. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 I feel 𝐒𝐿𝐴 hug me from behind and I start to take deep breaths. I ask 𝐼 who did this to you? When she told me I pulled her in for a hug and told her that he will never lay another finger on her again. I asked 𝐒𝐿𝐴 to finish dressing her. As I went out to greet my mom and All Might. We all ate breakfast and then I told 𝐼 that I would be back soon and that 𝐒𝐿𝐴 and my mom would stay with her. I left to go meet up with Momo. 𝐿𝐴 I got to the park a little early. I can't believe him going on a date with 𝐒𝐿𝐴. I know he is shy but he is also kind and he listens and he wears his heart on his sleeve. I see him walk up and he smiles at me. I greet him, but as I look at him I can see that he looks a little sad. 𝐒𝐿 𝐵𝐵 Hi Momo, you look great. I'm sorry if I kept you waiting. The more I look at Momo the more I know she is way out of my league. As I walk up to her I gently take her hand and lead her to the swings. I sat down on one and she sat on the other. I look her in the eyes and asked her what does she see in me. I know that there's other guys in our class that are head over heels for her. I couldn't offer her anything that she doesn't already have. Plus she knows that I'm in a relationship with 𝐒𝐿. So why me? I'm sorry for being so forward with you, but your answer will dictate where this conversation goes. Momo POV. Now I know why he looked kinda sad. He feels that he has nothing to offer me. I look at him and smile. I don't want anything from you. All I want is your heart. I want you to look at me the way you do 𝐒𝐿. As far as the others. All of my life boys have chased me thinking about what I could offer them. But you don't care about that. All you care about is if the one you love is happy. I just want to be one of the ones you love. 𝐒𝐿 PV. Wow, I didn't even think about it that way. As I look her in the eyes I smile and reach out for her hand. As she took mine I get up and walk with her to the cafe a few blocks up. As we took our seats I begin to tell Momo everything about 𝐿𝐸 and how she is now a part of my life and if she could accept that we could also become a couple. Momo PV. He did that for a child without a second thought. I gave him my answer by leaning over the table and kissing him. As I kissed him I felt a tear on my lips. I opened my eyes and saw that he had tears streaming down his face. I asked him was he all right. His answer made my heart melt. 𝐒𝐿 I'm fine. I was just so happy. I didn't think that I would ever be this lucky to have such a wonderful people in my life. 𝐒𝐿 POV. Watching 𝐒𝐿 and 𝐸𝐸 talk was odd. It took 𝐸𝐸 a while to warm up 𝐒𝐿, but now she won't stop talking. It's so cute. When 𝐒𝐿 told her that she was 𝐒𝐿's mom, 𝐸𝐸 asked what's a mom. I looked at her and asked you don't have a mom. She looked at me and said no. 𝐒𝐿 POV. My heart just broke. This poor child has gone through so much. I began to explain to her what a mom and dad is. I told her that a mom and dad love and protect you. They teach you, they give you a loving home and make you feel safe. She looked at me a little confused. 𝐸𝐸 POV. If that what a mom and dad is, does that mean 𝐒𝐿 is my dad and 𝐒𝐿 is my mom? 𝐒𝐿 POV. My heart is about to burst. I look over to 𝐒𝐿 who is coming towards us crying. She grabbed 𝐸𝐸 and hugged her, telling her I love you. I started to cry and hugged them both. My son has grown so much. When did it happen? 𝐒𝐿 POV. She called me her mom. I can't believe it. She called me her mom. I'm overcome with joy. I can't wait to tell Deku. 𝐸𝐸 POV. Is everything okay? Why are both of you crying? Are you hurting? Did I make you cry? I'm sorry if I made you cry. Please don't be mad at me. 𝐒𝐿. I tell 𝐸𝐸 that we're not mad at her, that these were tears of joy, that she made us both very happy with her words. I also tell her that when 𝐒𝐿 comes home that he would be happy also. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I just finished walking Momo home. She looked so happy that I accepted her. I stopped at the mall. I wanted to get 𝐸𝐸 a gift when I feel a hand grab the back of my neck. When I look it was Shigaraki. He said he wanted to talk to me and if I didn't he would kill the people around us. I sat with him and we spoke. He asked me about the hero killer and after I gave him the answers he wanted I heard a familiar voice ask me if I was all right. It was Tsuyu. Shigaraki let me go and began to walk away. I called out to him and asked him what his MSTR's plan. He looked back at me saying that he didn't know but the next time we meet that he would kill me. Tsuyu POV. I saw Midoriya with a strange guy and he looked like he was in pain. I asked if he was alright. He let go and Midoriya called him Shigaraki. As soon as I heard that I called the police. I asked him if he was alright and he said yes. He took my hand and thanked me. My heart started to race. It didn't take long for the police and heroes to arrive. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I told the police and the heroes what happened and they started to search the area. They took both Tsuyu and myself home. I thanked Tsuyu again when they dropped her off. When I got to the apartment I walked in. I see my mom and 𝐒𝐿 holding 𝐸𝐸 crying. I asked if everything was okay. I looked to see if 𝐸𝐸 was hurt when she said look, dad is home. I froze in place. Did she just call me dad? I can feel the tears come to my eyes unbidden. 𝐸𝐸 POV. I look at 𝐒𝐿 walk in and when I called him dad he stopped. As I look at him I could see tears start to flow from his eyes. I feel 𝐒𝐿 put me down when 𝐒𝐿 rushed to me faster than I have ever seen him move. The next thing I know I'm in his arms and he told me that he loves me so much. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 POV I saw my son freeze when he heard 𝐂𝐸 call him dad. I saw 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 put her down before I could blink. She was in his arms. He was telling her how much he loved her when 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 hugged them both. It reminded me of the first time I saw her at the hospital. Then it dawned on me, if she is calling my son dad, that makes me a grandma. At that thought I began to smile. I'm now a grandma. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV when I put 𝐂𝐸 down when my phone starts to ring. It was Mr. Aizawa letting me know that all of the arrangements are done and that 𝐂𝐸 will be attending class with me. I let 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 know the good news. Then I left the room and told Mr. Aizawa about my day. He listened and asked who else in the staff knew. I informed him that he was the first. When I look over I see my mom and 𝐒𝐴𝐷 giving me the evil eye. 𝐂𝐸 wasn't paying me much attention. She was looking at my mom and 𝐒𝐴𝐷. Once I was done talking with him, my mom and 𝐒𝐴𝐷 were double teaming with questions. My mom was upset that I didn't tell them that first. Then she looked at the time and she went over to 𝐂𝐸 and gave her a kiss goodbye. She did the same to 𝐒𝐴𝐷. Then I got a kiss and she left. 𝐒𝐴𝐷 POV okay, it's time to get ready for bed, go change and brush your teeth. 𝐂𝐸 said okay and went to the bathroom, but she left the door open to make sure that she could still see us. I looked over to Deku and asked about his date with Momo. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV it went well and I accepted her into our life. She knows all about 𝐂𝐸 but she doesn't know about me though. I would like to keep it that way a little longer. We'll see where this goes first. Then 𝐂𝐸 came out of the bathroom. We both take her to bed. We about to leave the room when she called out to us saying that she didn't like being alone. I look at my little mochi and smiled. 𝐒𝐴𝐷 POV I look at Deku and he is just smiling at me. I look at 𝐂𝐸 and said okay honey. I start to take off my top and I see Deku start to take off his top and his breathes. He walked behind me and whispered in my ear, said that he had plans for me but it could wait for now. I turn red and smile at him. As we lay down with 𝐸𝐸, she holds on to Deku like she is afraid that he is going to leave her. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV as I get comfortable, 𝐂𝐸𝐸 holds on to me and places his head against my chest. My little mochi snuggles behind 𝐂𝐸𝐸 as I kiss the front of 𝐂𝐸𝐸's head. 𝐒𝐴𝐷 kisses the back of her head. And not too long after that I can hear her snoring. I look at 𝐒𝐴𝐷 who is starting to doze off too. I pull out my wing and cover my girls as I doze off. I drift off thinking about my crazy weekend. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV I get up early as usual to meet up with All Might for my training. As I pulled my wing and sneak out of bed, 𝐸𝐸𝐸 starts to wake up. I turn her into 𝐒𝐴𝐷 and she snuggles into her chest and goes back to sleep. Once I'm done with my training with All Might, he tells me how much I've improved. I don't feel like I've improved much. I feel like I'm his personal punching bag. I run to my mom's house to get my school clothes, then I run home to shower and change. As I get home I kiss my little mochi on the head. It's time to wake up, baby. 𝐸𝐸𝐸 it's time for you to wake up also, we have to get ready for school. 𝐸𝐸𝐸 wakes up realizing that she wasn't snuggling with me and asks me what school. 𝐒𝐴𝐷 POV I start to wake up hearing Deku explain what school is. When I look at him he looks like he was in a fight. I asked him what happened. He told me it was part of his training regimen. That he always stops at Recovery Girl's office before class for healing. He walks into the shower and steps inside and calls me in so we could shower at the same time. To save water and time, being that we had to get 𝐸𝐸𝐸 ready as well. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV once we were done with our shower and we got 𝐸𝐸𝐸 ready, we left for school. Momo was waiting for us at the front gate. Momo POV I see 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 and 𝐒𝐴𝐷 walking with a little girl. She is so cute. This is the little girl he told me about. Now I understand why he took her in. He knows what it means to be alone. I guess he didn't want her to feel that way. I walk up them and try to introduce myself to the little girl when she hides behind 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷. It was too cute. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV 𝐸𝐸𝐸 hides behind me when Momo introduces herself. I tell 𝐸𝐸𝐸 it's okay, that Momo is a very special person for us also. She is a part of our family. 𝐸𝐸𝐸 looked at her and said hi. Momo POV 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 said I was special, that I was a part of his family. I can feel the red going up my neck all the way to my ears. 𝐸𝐸𝐸 POV Daddy, why is she turning red like mommy does when you whisper in her ears? Momo POV did she just call you daddy? 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 turned red at this point and said yeah, it's a long story but I'll tell you everything. He asked me if we could stop by the nurse's office first, so we all walked together while 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 explained everything to me. 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐷 POV when I get to class I see there is a little table next to mine along with coloring books and other things to keep her busy. I could see how nervous she is to be in class with us. All of the students introduced themselves to 𝐸𝐸𝐸. It took me a while to calm her down, especially after 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻 came in throwing another fit. Mr. Aizawa walked in and explained to the class that Eri would be joining us for a while. And that we had bigger thing to worry about, like our class trip next week. Bakugo POV WTF, why him? Why does he always have to stand out? I'm supposed to be the one to get all of the attention. I'm supposed to be the best. But Deku, not only does he get the attention, he now brings a child into class. Why does it always have to be him? I freeze when I hear the little girl call Deku daddy. Izuku PV, I hear A call up to me asking to use the bathroom. When I look around I see all eyes on me. I forgot the only ones that know that she calls me daddy is Ochako and Momo. Even Mr. Aizawa looked shocked, but he lets me know it's all right. Ochako got up and asked Eri to follow her. Eri said okay mommy. That's when the whole class lost it. Bakugo PV, are you kidding Emmy? She called Deku daddy. I really need to blow something up. Izuku PV, the rest of the day went well until our hero training course. When I got to the locker room I felt like I was getting interrogated by the police. Eri got to see me and Ochako in uniforms for the first time. Luckily for me, A remembered Mr. Aizawa and went with him while we trained. Ochako PV, wow, I felt like the questions would never end. It ranged from me living with Deku to A calling me mom. I was glad to get on the training grounds. A PV, wow, my mom and dad are so cool. Looking at them train was fun. I got to play with Mr. Aizawa. He likes cats. I like cats too. He asks funny questions. Eraserhead PA, why did you call Izuku and Ochako mom and dad? Eri POV, I told him that a mom and dad make you feel safe and loved. Grandma Inko told me that. Eraserhead PV, I really need to talk to my problem child. Luckily hero training is over. I'll pull them to side and talk to both of them. Izuku PV, I get out of the gym when Eri came running to me. I scooped her up and hugged her. One Izuku PV, I get out of the gym when Eri came running to me. I scooped her up and hugged her. When Mr. Aizawa called me over. We waited for Ochako when he walked with us and asked when did Eri begin calling us mommy and daddy. Ochako PV, I explained to Mr. Aizawa about Inko asking Eri about her mommy and daddy and how Eri didn't know what that was, and after Inko explained to her what parents do, she just associates us as her parents. Eraserhead PV, I look at my problem child with new eyes. He stepped up to the plate by accepting the child. Now the child feels safe with them after a weekend. I just wanted to see how everything was going for the three of you. It seems everything is going better than I expected. I need to talk to Principal Nezu about this after class. Momo POV, as I watched Izuku take care of Eri during the day made me want him even more. He is a great father. I can imagine him with our child in the future. OMG, I just imagined him with our child. He did tell Eri that I was a part of their family. I need to talk to him, both him and Ochako. I want to be closer to them all. I want to move in. Izuku POV, as we get home Ochako goes into the kitchen and starts making us dinner. I get changed and tell Eri to change also. Once I'm done I go into the kitchen and Ochako goes and change. A tries to help us cook. It's too cute. We sit down to eat and listen to Eri talk about her first day at school, how she had fun with Mr. Aizawa. Ochako and I look at each other stunned. I try to imagine Mr. Aizawa as being fun. Izuku PV, the week flew by between training with All Might, school and teaching. Eri time has been flying by. I have been making great improvements. OFA. Okako and I have adjusted to living together. I really have been enjoying it. I never thought that my life would turn out this way. Okako is a great mom even though she spoils Eri. As we head into school Momo approached us wanting to talk to Ochako and I. Momo POV, as Izuku and Ochako approach walking hand in hand with Eri in the middle. That really makes me want to live with them. I asked Izuku and Ochako about moving in and to my surprise Ochako was really happy. They both agreed to me moving in after the class trip. That makes me very happy. As we get into class Eri goes to her little table as I watch Izuku pull out her little spelling books and math books. He is such a good father. I wish he would be the father of my children. Aizawa POV, I tell the class to get ready for the trip. I look at Eri and smile as I look at her practicing her spelling. I ask her if she is ready for the trip. She smiled at me and said yes. I tell the class to get their gear and meet me at the bus. Izuku POV, leader is in full gear lining everyone up to get us in the bus. As I get in Ochako sits next to me. Eri is on my lap. Momo is sitting across from me. I can see a different look in her eyes. As I wonder what she is thinking. I can hear Eri snore a little. She is so cute. I hear Mr. Aizawa tell us to get off the bus. As I get out the bus Eri wakes up and looks around. Mr. Aizawa calls her over. He wanted to show her something. I put her down and she walked over to him. That's when the wild pussycats introduce themselves and I begin to fanboy. The next thing I know the whole class is flying deep into the woods. I hear 𝐂𝐲𝐽𝐻 cry out for her daddy. I tell her that it's okay. I tell her that it's a race and we're going to beat her daddy to the camp. She looks at me and asks me if he going to be okay. I tell her yes and introduce her to Kota. She's still shy about meeting new people. But we get back into the bus and we go to the camp. 𝐒𝐲𝐽𝐻 after a bunch of fights with dirt monsters we finally get to camp and I hear 𝐂𝐲 cry out to me saying that they won the race. She jumps into my arms. I'm so tired that I almost dropped her. After I put her down she pulled my arm to introduce me to a little boy. 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ𝐿 and Momo come up to us and asked about her new friend. The boy is shy but I can feel the anger in him. There is something about us he doesn't like. After the introductions we unloaded the bus and sat and ate. 𝐿𝐴ℎ𝐿 sat in between 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ and I while Momo sat on the other side of me. I listened to 𝐿𝐴ℎ𝐿 tell me about her trip and how she had fun coloring with Mr. Aizawa. Now it's time for a bath. I get excited because it's an open-air hot spring. 𝐿𝐴ℎ𝐿 goes with 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ after we explained why boys went to one side while the girls went to another. 𝐿𝐴ℎ𝐿 POV. Daddy told me to go with mommy but I wanted to go with him so I asked why. When he showers with mommy all the time. I don't understand why the girls turned red, mommy being the worst of them. But I go with mommy. She promised me that they will make it up to me when we get home. 𝐒𝐿𝐴 POV. After getting the look from all the guys we step out into the hot springs and it was nice. The only thing separating the boys from the girls was a wall. While we were soaking in the water Mineta goes to the wall and I can see the drool on the side of his mouth while he is looking at the wall. As soon as he popped the first ball off his head I jumped out of the water and grabbed him by his neck. I felt the anger in me rise as I told him if he tried to do that again I will castrate him. Mineta POV. I know that all of the girls are naked on the other side and it's a man's job to try to peek on a woman if she is naked. I pop a ball off my head and start to climb the wall when I get jerked off the wall by 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ𝐿. As I try to look at him there is something different about his eyes. They changed. They were cat-like. For the first time I found myself truly afraid of 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ. After his threat he threw me back into the hot spring and started to walk away after he called out to 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ, Momo and 𝐿𝐴ℎ telling them that he was stepping out and that they should do the same. 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. After the girls stopped asking me about showering with Deku. 𝐿𝐴ℎ and I were enjoying the hot spring when I heard Deku say he was stepping out and we should do the same. I tell 𝐿𝐴ℎ to follow me so we could meet up with daddy. She said okay. Momo stuck out a hand and I saw 𝐿𝐴ℎ grab it and 𝐿𝐴ℎ reached out with the other hand for mine and I took it. I could hear the rest of the girls saying how cute that was that 𝐿𝐴ℎ reached out for our hands as they followed us out of the hot springs. Then Mina stopped Momo and I as we were getting dressed and asked us a question. Mina POV. 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ I understand why 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ called out to you and 𝐿𝐴ℎ but why did he call out to Momo as well? 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. As the girls exit the hot springs we start going to our cabins. The boys went to one, the girls went to another and there was a medium-sized tent which was for my little family. The school doesn't want to stress 𝐿𝐴ℎ so they set this up so she and I could be together. I could see the look of sadness in Momo's eyes when she looked at 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ and 𝐿𝐴ℎ walking with me towards the tent. So I called out for her to join us. And she practically glowed. Momo POV. Mina's questions in the hot spring threw me and 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ off guard. But we answered them honestly. It didn't make sense to try to hide it because it's all going to come out sooner or later. The other girls were in shock but I was happy to hear 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ tell them that it was our choice and we were happy like this. As we walked out I see 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ walking with 𝐿𝐴ℎ towards the tent and I felt sad that I wouldn't be there with them. Then I hear 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ call me asking me to join them and I felt so happy as I go to the tent with them. 𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. Mommy, why are we not sleeping with everyone in the house? Why are the girls going into one house while the boys go into another? 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. Those are called cabins. One of the cabins is for the boys, the other is for the girls and we're going to sleep in the tent. 𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. Daddy, is Momo going to stay with us in the tent? 𝐒𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. Yes, she is. Remember when I told you that she is an important person to us? She is family to us and as a family we're all going to sleep in the tent together. Are you okay with that? 𝐿𝐴ℎ POV. I look at my daddy and say yes. As we all go inside the tent I see a small sleeping bag for me and one for my mommy and daddy and say there isn't one for Momo. I looked at her and she smiled at me and said don't worry. Then I see a glow in her chest and there was a sleeping bag big enough for all of us. I got so excited because I get to sleep with them in the same sleeping bag. 𝐒𝐿 POV. As we all got ready for bed, I asked Momo was she sure that she wanted to do this, and she smiled at me and kissed me and said yes. I turn and look at 𝐒𝐿𝐵 kiss her, and I lean over and kiss 𝐼𝐸 and say let's go to bed. 𝐼𝐸 snuggled in between me and 𝐒𝐿𝐵 while Momo held me from the other side. And we all drift off to sleep. 𝐒𝐿. I woke up first and get out of bed. I tried to get out without waking anyone, but Momo woke up. I leaned in and kissed her good morning and she turned red. She got out of the sleeping bag and 𝐒𝐿𝐵 and 𝐼𝐸 woke up, so we all left the tent together as a family. The other students were coming out of the cabins, and when they saw us I could feel the stares. Mr. Aizawa was waiting for us. The wild PP cats were also waiting for us. I was told that I would be training under Tiger. Mr. Aizawa called 𝐸𝐸 over to his and asked would she like to play with Kota, and she said yes. Tiger PV. I see Midoriya walking towards me and said we're going to spar. First I see him stretch, then he looks at me and said he was ready, so I struck. I thought I was going to hit him, but he is fast. My first punch hit nothing and he was coming at me throwing his own punch. I activate my quirk and stretch my body out of the way, but he followed up with a kick out of nowhere. I was barely able to dodge it, countering with my own kick. He went low and moved out of the way. I readjusted my body to try to strike again. I run towards him to close the distance. I threw a combo of punches and he dodged and followed up with his own punch. I moved slightly out of the way. When he missed, he quickly spun and followed up with an elbow that if I didn't block he would have hit my head. Mr. Aizawa PV. I was shocked when I saw Midoriya sparring with Tiger. To say he improved is an understatement. He is really giving Tiger a run for his money, and I don't think that he is even using his quirk yet. He almost hit Tiger in the head with an elbow. I call out to him and tell him to stop for a minute. When I got to both of them I asked Midoriya, are you using your quirk? 𝐒𝐿 PV. I looked at Mr. Aizawa and said no. I saw the look that he gave me. He looked shocked. Then he asked me who has been teaching me hand-to-hand combat. I told him Gran Torino mostly. I didn't want to tell him about my training sessions with All Might. He told me that he wanted to see me use my quirk when we started again. But he reminded me that we are sparing and to be careful with how much power I was using. Tiger POV. Holy see, this kid fought me like that and he wasn't even using his quirk. He almost got me with his last strike. I call out to Mandalay and tell her that I'm going to need her assistance. As she jogged up and looked at the boy, then looked at me. She said, do you really need help with this one? I told her that he is a lot faster than he looks and that we needed to fight him together to help him push his limits. I told Midoriya to ready himself because we both were going to attack him. Then Mr. Aizawa said begin. Like a shot he was off. I lost sight of him for a second. If not for Mandalay I would have gotten punched in the side of my head. Mandalay PV. He is quick. He almost got Tiger. I barely got to him before he struck. I kicked his arm before he hit Tiger, and the kid used the momentum to help him spin and counter me with an elbow that hit my butt. Tiger was able to hit the kid with a punch and the kid leaped back and shot off into the trees. As we both scanned the tree line I saw a green blur out of the corner of my eye and barely got my arm up in time. I blocked the punch and Tiger punched the kid, and to both out surprise he grabbed Tiger's arm, rolled with the punch and tried to kick him in the chest. Tiger POV. If not for my quirk he would have connected with that kick. This kid is a monster and I know that he is holding back. If not for Mandalay I think this kid would have already beaten me. Who the hell is teaching him to fight? If he keeps going at this pace I think that he'll be stronger than All Might. Mandalay used her quirk to tell me to attack him at the same time she did. As she went low to take out his legs it went for his upper body. He somehow managed to dodge both our attacks. The class POV. We all stopped our training when we saw Izuku fighting not one but two pro heroes. We stared in disbelief as he fought. He managed to hit them as they hit him. He even had them on the ropes a few times. We all were wondering how did he improve so much. Bakugo POV. How is he getting so strong? Why him? First he hooks up with 𝐒𝐿𝐵, then he adopts a girl. Now it looks like he is also with Momo. He is now fighting two pros and is holding his own. What am I doing wrong? How is he getting ahead of me? 𝐒𝐿 POV. After fighting Tiger and Mandalay I'm so tired. Now it's almost time to eat. I look for 𝐸𝐸 to see that she is hopping around with Kota. She looks like a rabbit. Seeing her smile and being happy make me feel so happy. I feel a hand gently take mine and I look and see 𝐒𝐿𝐵. She is smiling while looking at 𝐸𝐸. Momo walks up to my other side also smiling. When 𝐸𝐸 sees us she yelled out Daddy Mommy and ran to us. I asked her how is my little rabbit doing. 𝐼𝐴 I'm not a rabbit daddy. As I look at my daddy I see he looks tired and very dirty. So I ask what happened to him. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 you look like a rabbit, the way you're hopping around, your hair and eyes also make you look like a rabbit. You're also soft and cuddly as I pull her into my arms and hug and tickle her. She squealed as she tried to squirm out of my arms laughing. Then I told her that my training was pretty rough. 𝐼𝐴 are you hungry yet? 𝐼𝐴 yes I am 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲 let's go eat. 𝐼𝐴 your daddy's right, you did look like a rabbit and you're cute like one, so I'm going to start calling you my little rabbit too. 𝐼𝐴 mommy. Stop teasing me. 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲 I look over to Kota and asked him if he wanted to join us and he said no, he didn't want to be around wannabe heroes. 𝐼𝐴 Kota that was mean, don't talk like that to my daddy. Kota POV that's you daddy. I thought you joking, I have to go by 𝐴. 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲 it's okay 𝐴 let's go eat. Momo POV as we got to the table I look at 𝐒𝐭𝐴 and told him that I saw his training. It was very intense too, at the same time I'm very impressed. 𝐒𝐭𝐴 blushed before he could answer. Kota walked up. Kota I'm sorry I upset you, do you want to see my secret fort? 𝐼𝐴 POV daddy is it okay with you? 𝐒𝐭𝐴 it's okay, finish your food then go and have fun. 𝐒𝐭𝐴 Deku when did you get so good at hand to hand? Is that why you always come back from training bruised? 𝐒𝐭𝐴 I look at Momo then 𝐒𝐭𝐴 and tell I've been training hard every morning. When I look around I see most of the class looking at me. I feel really uncomfortable, I don't want people to know about All Might. I see Tiger and Mandalay walking towards me, they said that they wanted to talk to me about tomorrow's training. Once we were done talking the class split up, some go to remedial courses, others were testing each other's courage. I wanted to check on 𝐼𝐴 and Kota. I suddenly started to feel something wrong. I start to smell fire. The wild pussycat said we were under attack and for everyone to head back to camp. I scream out 𝐴 where are you? I run into the woods looking for her. Kota said he was going to his fort. I remember seeing some steep rocky hillsides when we were trying to find the camp. I'll start there. Kota hey how do you like my fort? Nobody knows about it. I come here when I think about my mom and dad. 𝐼𝐴 POV where are you mom and dad? Kota POV they were heroes and they died, they left me behind. Now I'm just alone, I miss them, they were so much fun. They played with me like your mom and dad do, but because they were heroes they fought a villain and died. Now I live with my aunt and I feel empty, why did they have to die? 𝐼𝐴 POV my daddy saved me from the bad man. I was alone and in pain every day. I thought I was always going to be alone and in pain. Then he showed up and the bad man went away. He saved me from being alone and I feel safe when I'm with him. Muscular POV that's so sweet, where is your daddy now? I want to talk to him. Actually I want to kill him, then I'll kill you. Don't worry about it kid, this will be quick. Kota POV I know you. You're the reason my parents are gone. You're why I'm alone, you killed my parents. Muscular POV don't worry kid, you're going to be joining them right now. 𝐼𝐴 POV my daddy will stop you, he'll find us and stop you. Muscular POV don't worry, after I kill your little boyfriend you're next. The little girl screamed out calling her daddy when I throw my punch hard enough to turn the boy into pudding. But I missed, I hit the ground. When I look both kids are at least 50 feet back being held by a young man. 𝐼𝐴 POV daddy you saved us, I knew you would come for us. 𝐼𝐴 POV daddy you saved us, I knew you would come for us. I look at my daddy's face and I can see that he is very angry, his eyes changed again. Like when he saw my scars for the first time. Kota mister we have to run, he'll kill us, he is too strong. 𝐒𝐭𝐴 Kota. 𝐼𝐴 stay back, I'll protect you. He won't lay a finger on you. I look at the villain, I could see that all he wanted to do is kill us. I also heard Kota say that he killed his parents. My blood is starting to boil and all I can see is red. That's when he struck, he tried to punch me. I jumped to the rock wall, then I jumped at Muscular and punched him and sent him flying back. I pressed my attack and punched him again and sent him flying into the mountainside. I jumped back when he didn't move. I looked at Kota and I started to walk to them when I hear him speak. Muscular POV that's not bad kid, that actually hurt. I didn't think that I would find such a strong opponent. I need to get this kid off his game. I'll go after the little boy first, then when he is grieving I'll get him, then the little girl. I launch at the little boy with all of my strength. I feel the punch connect but my fist stopped and the young man was standing in front of me. 𝐒𝐭𝐴 POV I look at Muscular, he's not targeting me as it's he's going after Kota. I will my body to move as fast as I could. I barely got there in time. I took the hit. I focused on the punch and scales formed on my arms. When it connected, the scales kept my arm from shattering. Then I yelled and punched him with all my might. I felt the bones in my right arm break when the punch connected. The punch sent muscular flying like a bullet into the mountain, causing part of it to collapse. This time his body was limp and he was out cold. I see Kota behind me crying, Kota PV, Mister, why did you save me? You could have died from that punch. Your arm is broken. I was mean to you. Why, mister? Why did you save me? Eri POV, I ran to my daddy and hug him, asking him if he okay. I feel his hand on my head. Izuku, I heard you call me, that's how I found you. I was so scared that I lost you and Kota. Kota, to answer your question, I saved you because you're Eri's first friend. Even if you weren't Eri's friend, I would have saved you because it's the right thing to do. But right now we have to go back to the camp. Kota, climb onto my back and hold on. After he was on, I picked up Eri and ran towards the camp. PV, I didn't know that my daddy was this fast. I feel like we're flying through the woods when I see Mr. Aizawa. I tell my daddy and he changes course to run to Mr. Aizawa. Izuku PV, Eraserhead, please take the children. I need to tell Mandalay I found Kota. I also need to find Ochako and Momo. Eri PV, daddy, please don't leave me. Please daddy, take me with you. I don't want to lose you. Izuku PV, I hug Eri with my good arm and tell her that I have to do this. I have to save her mommy and Momo. Eri, daddy loves you. I won't leave you. I promise that I'll come back for you. I'll always come back for you. But trust me, for now please go with Mr. Aizawa. He'll keep you safe for me. Eraserhead PV, Deku, what happened to your arm? Did you push yourself too far again? We'll need to talk after this. I need you to pass this message to Mandalay. Izuku, as soon as Eri let me go and Mr. Aizawa picked her up, I ran to the camp. I saw a lizard fighting Mandalay and I saw another guy fighting Tiger. As the lizard raised a ridiculous-looking sword, I attacked him. He flew and hit a tree. His partner tried to throw a knife at me when he saw me take his partner down hard. That's when Tiger got him, punching him in the temple and knocking him out. I told Mandalay I found Kota and he was safe. I passed Mr. Aizawa's message for the students to defend themselves. When she passed the message, I shot into the woods looking for Ochako and Momo. Momo PV, why is there a Nomu here? I was looking for more wounded before I ran back to the camp when it attacked. I barely managed to get a tracking device when it hit me and sent me flying. As I looked up from the ground, it was about to hit me again when a green flash hit it in the head, sending it flying into a tree. The hit didn't even phase it. The Nomu went after its attacker. It was Izuku. The last thing I remember before blacking out was as I looked at Izuku, I saw his eyes. His eyes looked like cat eyes, and for the first time I also saw rage in them. Izuku PV, I see Momo flying backwards and a Nomu is going after her. I kicked the Nomu's head before it hit Momo again. The Nomu was fast. It came after me before the dust settled around it. It's almost as fast as All Might. Then I realize that I can't fight it here. Momo might get hurt. I dodge the first attack and I go after the Nomu. I make sure that I have its full attention. It screams out in frustration when it missed me with its attack. As the Nomu continues to attack me, I realize my mistake. We're not far enough from Momo and we're moving too fast for me to really keep track. Momo POV, I open my eyes but I think I'm still dreaming. Izuku is fighting the Nomu and they are fast. I tried to get up so I could help Izuku and the Nomu heard me. I see it start to rush towards me, so I make a shield and curl up to help with the blow. I hear loud impact but I felt nothing. As I lower my shield, now I know I'm dreaming. Izuku is standing behind me, covering me with wings that had heavy scales. His eyes never left the Nomu as he let out a primal scream that scared me. He hit the Nomu with an uppercut and I heard bone shatter. The Nomu flew like a bullet and Izuku's arm looked horrible. Izuku PV, Eno, he's going to kill Momo with that hit. Move it, protect her at all costs. I barely get behind her and my wings shoot out my back and cover Momo like a half dome. And I feel the force of the punch. It hurt, but if it hit Momo it would have killed her. The thought of that made me scream out in anger as I hit the Nomu. I feel the pain in my arm as I send it flying through the air. As I look down I could see the fear in Momo's eyes. She's scared. Is she scared of me? With a thought my wings go back and I scream out again. This time it's in pain. Momo POV, Izuku, is that really you? Izuku POV, yes. Are you okay? Can you get up? Momo POV, I think it can. Your arm, it looks horrible, are you okay? Just as I finished talking, 𝐒𝐿 came running towards us. She saw Izuku's arms and gasped. She asked me to make splints as she ripped her shirt. 𝐒𝐿, where is Deku? As soon as I thought about it, I instinctively start to run through the woods. Tsuyu was with me and she followed me through the woods. She asked me where I was going and I told her to find Deku. Shortly after we hear him scream. I felt a cold feeling in my gut. I begin to run faster with Tsuyu right behind me. Then I saw him. He was standing by Momo and his arms were horrible. I tell Momo to make splints as I rip my shirt to keep the splints in place. Deku, where is Eri? Izuku, she is safe right now. She is with Eraserhead. Are you okay? 𝐒𝐿, I'm fine, but your arms, this isn't good. You need to see a doctor. Momo, are you okay? Momo, I'm okay. If it wasn't for Izuku, I'd be dead. He fought off a Nomyu by himself, but he broke his arms in the fight. 𝐒𝐿, as I'm listening to Momo, I hear a sniffle. 𝐒𝐿, as I'm listening to Momo, I hear a sniffle. Momo, Tsuyu, and I look over to Deku and see him crying. He was looking at the two of us and said that he was so happy that we were safe. Izuku, as I look at 𝐒𝐿 and Momo, I feel a sense of relief washing over me. I couldn't help it, I began to cry. They were safe, so was Eri. The knot in my stomach unwounded. It cost me my arms, but I managed to save two very important people of my life. I'll make that trade any day to keep my loved ones safe. Tsuyu, as I look at Midoriya, I'm just blown away by him. 𝐒𝐿 is so lucky, and it looks like he feels that same about Momo. I can't believe that he fought a Nomyu by himself to keep her safe. What won't he do for the ones he loves? Why didn't I make a move on him when 𝐒𝐿 broke his heart? Then I would be the one he was fighting for. Izuku, we have to go. Momo, can you walk? We need to go now. 𝐒𝐿, Izuku, your arms are really bad. Are you sure you can make it? Izuku, I'll make it. We have to check on the rest of the class. I start walking towards the camp as Tsuyu and 𝐒𝐿 help Momo walk, following behind me. Momo, as we follow Izuku, I see the rips in the back of his shirt. I didn't imagine it. He had wings. I have to talk with him and 𝐒𝐿 about it. Izuku, we made it to the camp. Ai comes running to me and she hugs me, telling me how scared she was. When she looked at my other arm and she began to cry. You're even more hurt, Daddy. I look at her and tell her it's okay. I hurt myself protecting Momo when Mandalay Tiger and Mr. Aizawa walked up to us. Mr. Aizawa looked at my arms and he was upset. He told me to sit down. As I sat, 𝐒𝐿 picked up Eri and they told me that Kacchan was taken and Ragdoll was also gone. As I process this information, I start to black out. The pain finally caught up to me. 𝐒𝐿, as I listen to Mr. Aizawa, I see Deku slump over. He passed out and he has a fever. Eri starts to cry. I hold her tight and tell her that her daddy is going to be alright. Tiger picks up Deku and takes him inside and puts him on a bed. Medical teams and heroes start to show up shortly after. Momo is also laying down, her injuries taking their toll on her. Izuku, I wake up and it's dark. Everything around me is black. I call into the darkness, hello, is there anybody out there? When two very large cat eyes open in front of me. Bahamut, is that you? Once again I get the feeling he isn't looking at me, he's looking into my soul. Bahamut, yes it is, child, I've been watching over you. I saw you fight. You barely used my power. Why, child? You used your wings to protect the girl and you used your scales to protect your arm. You can do so much more. Why didn't you? More importantly, why didn't you kill the man who tried to kill your adoptive offspring? Izuku, I used your power on instinct. To be honest, the only thing I can control is bringing out my wings. The reason I didn't kill the villain is because I already defeated him. I will not kill unless I don't have any other choice. If I went back to kill him after I defeated him, I would be no better than him. Bahamut, if you saw all of this, why didn't you help us? Bahamut, because I'm not their child. I felt your emotions and I opened a window to see you. I can't travel through it, but I can watch. I will admit that I saw both of your fights. They were sloppy, but you defended your loved ones and you didn't abuse your power. You did well, child. I will be coming to see you soon. I will teach you how to better use my power. I'll make you strong. Izuku, I open my eyes and I'm in a hospital. When I look over to my right, I see Eri sleeping on 𝐒𝐿's chest. My mom was in the room with me and two people I don't know were sitting in the room watching over me. They began to speak to me when I looked at them. The lady began to cry as she thanked me for saving her child. I try to gather my thoughts and they see the look of confusion on my face. Momo parents PV, we apologized, please let us explain, we're Momo's parents and she told us how far you went to save her. She said that you covered her with your own body and took a hit from a 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿 that was meant to kill her. Then you shattered your left arm punching it to get it away from her. We can't thank you enough. If there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. Izuku POV, you're welcome, and I didn't do that much, I just got lucky. As I look over to the door, I see 𝐒𝐿𝐵's parents walking and they heard the whole thing. 𝐒𝐿𝐵's dad looked so proud hearing what I did. They have been taking turns watching over me for the last week. They wanted someone to be here when I woke up. Momo parents PV, it seems you have more company, we will be leaving now. 𝐒𝐿𝐵's dad introduced himself to us and told us that he owns a construction company. Really, can I have your business card? I have need of a good construction company right now if you're interested. And Izuku, once again thank you for saving our little girl. Izuku POV, at this point 𝐒𝐿𝐵 and 𝐸𝐸 wake up, both coming over to the bed. 𝐸𝐸 spoke first asking me how I was doing and who was Bahamut. I see my mom's eyes go wide at the mention of his name. 𝐸𝐸, how do you know that name? 𝐸𝐸 POV, daddy, you talk in your sleep sometimes. I was laying next to you when you said that name. 𝐿𝐴 POV, don't worry about it. Remember the doctor said he was having strange dreams because of his fever. But right now there's a lot of people that want to see your daddy. Izuku POV, 𝐒𝐿𝐵's dad opened the door and almost all of my class entered except Momo and 𝐿𝐵. 𝐒𝐿𝐵's dad spoke up and said he was going to take my mom and 𝐸𝐸 for a quick bite to eat and they would be right back. Kirishima spoke first. He told me about how he lost 𝐿𝐵 and how he felt responsible. A few seconds later the door opened and it was Momo. She told us about the tracking device on the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿, then she looked at me and asked everyone to leave except 𝐒𝐿𝐵. Momo POV, as the class left I waited until I couldn't hear them anymore before I spoke. Izuku, I want you to be honest with me right now please. Izuku POV, okay Momo, what's wrong? Momo POV, do you have wings? I saw them in the fight and your eyes, they changed, they were cat-like. I'll be honest with you, I was afraid of you for a moment when you let out that first scream before you hit the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿. I didn't know if I was dreaming all this up, but the rips in the back of your shirt told me it wasn't my imagination. Izuku POV, 𝐒𝐿𝐵, please close the curtains and stand by the door. I can see a look of concern in Momo's eyes as 𝐒𝐿𝐵 complied with my request. I sat up. Once she was by the door, I released my wings from my back. Momo POV, he does have wings, but they look different from what I remembered. Those had heavy scales. I touch one and it's warm and feels like leather. Izuku POV, I stand up and I take a step closer to Momo and I wrap my wings around her and said, this is how I covered you in the fight. I didn't want you to see this side of me yet, but I didn't want to lose you. So I released my wings to protect you. I was going to tell you about it when you moved in. I'm sorry I hide this side of me from you. If you don't want to be with me, I understand. Momo POV, I can feel the warmth of his wings around me and I lean in for a hug. I ask about his eyes. Izuku POV, my eyes change when I get angry, they turn feral. Cat-like is how I was told they look. Momo, there's only 8 people who know about this, you can't tell anyone. This quirk ain't normal, it's a dragon's quirk and I'm just learning how to use it. So please, you can't tell anybody about this side of my quirk, okay? Momo POV, so that makes me number 9. He replied, no, you're number 8 for heroes, the principal, my mom and 𝐒𝐿𝐵. 𝐸𝐸 doesn't know, so please don't tell her, she isn't ready for that yet. Okay Izuku, I promise not to tell anybody, okay? Kirishima POV, I went to the hospital to visit Yorozu and Midoriya again, I need to talk to them. I have to do something about Bakugo. I failed my friend's leader, Asui, and Todoroki joined me. Leader and Asui continue to try to talk me out of trying to save Bakugo. As we get to the hospital we see 𝐒𝐿𝐵 and 𝐸𝐸 leaving, they were about to get a bite to eat. We go to Izuku's room first and he wasn't there, so we go to Momo's room and found both of them talking. Midoriya looks over to us and asked us to come in. Izuku POV, we're getting released tomorrow so we'll be in class Monday. Kirishima POV, Midoriya, I know that you and Bakugo don't have a good relationship, but I really need both of yours and Yorozu help. I'm feeling so worthless right now. Yorozu has the tracking device, this will at least get us to him. Please, if you ever considered me your friend, please help me. Momo POV, I already gave a tracker to the heroes, they are probably tracking them down right now. Kirishima POV, Midoriya, you know how I feel more than anyone else in this room. We know how you fought the muscle dude and the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿 to protect Yorozu and 𝐸𝐸. All I'm asking for is a chance to do the same for my friend. Please give me the chance to help save my friend. Asui POV, you know this is wrong, you're not supposed to take the law into your own hand. We're not licensed yet, we would be breaking the law. Izuku POV, Kirishima, I know how you feel. I've felt that way for most of my life, powerless, unable to help anyone, it hurts just thinking about it. If we're going to do this, it will be rescue only, no fighting. We snatch and grab. If the heroes are there, we'll let them do their job. If you can't agree to that, I won't help. Momo PV, I agree with Izuku, I'll help only if you agree to this. The only reason I'm doing this is because I know how I felt before I was saved. Leader POV, Midoriya Yozu, are you sure about this? I'll go with you just to make sure that you don't break your word. This will be a rescue mission only. Todoroki, yeah, I agree with leader, this is not a good idea, but I think I can understand Kirishima's reasoning. I'll help if you decide to go through with this. Asui PV, I don't want you guys to go, it's dangerous and illegal, please don't do this. Kirishima PV, Asui, we're just talking right now, we haven't done anything. Asui, please don't do this, I have to go, I'll see you Monday. Izuku PV, Asui is right, we will be walking a very fine line if we do this. Momo, I'll leave this up to you. You're the one that will make the tracker to lead us to the Kachan. If you don't want to do this, I'll understand. Momo POV, will meet up tomorrow evening at the train station. This will give us time to go home, spend some time with our families. Is everybody good with that? Izuku POV, that works for me. Does tomorrow at 7 sound good? Kirishima POV, thank you for doing this for me. I'll see you tomorrow. Todoroki, leader, are you guys going to be there? Izuku PV, after listening to Todoroki and leader agree, they all step out, leaving Momo and I alone again. Momo POV, I look at Izuku and asked him if this was a good idea. Izuku, to be honest, I think it's a terrible idea, but I know there's nothing I wouldn't do to try and save you. That answer made Momo turn red as she looked away. Time skip, they are released from the hospital. Izuku POV, I explained to Ochako my plan to save Kachan. She didn't like it at all, but she told me that she understood. So we spent the day together playing with Eri and making up of lost time. Momo called to let us know that her parents wanted to spend today with her. And that she would see me later. When the time got close, I kissed Ochako goodbye and went to the train station. As we set out to save a friend, I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. Time skip, Izuku PV, at the end we managed to save Kachan. But we lost the symbol of peace, he was forced to retire. In the back of my head, all I could think about is that had I trained my dragon side more, I would have been able to help him stay the symbol of peace. Ochako P. Izuku, are you okay? You have been down ever since you saved Bakugo. Izuku POV, to be honest, I don't know. I know I could have done more. Had I just trained my dragon side, things would be different. I think I need to go for a run when I get back. Would you like to watch a movie? Ochako POV, okay Deku, but just remember one thing. It wasn't your fault. He fought one for all and he stopped him. He saved a lot of people and most importantly he's still alive. Izuku PV, how did I get so lucky to have such a wonderful woman in my life? I hug my little Mochi and walk out the door and begin to run. When I got halfway to the beach, my phone rang. It was All Might. He wanted me to meet him at the beach. I use OFA and run to the beach where he was waiting for me. All Might POV, when young Midoriya gets close to me, I punch him. He doesn't listen, but he learns from his mistakes. I tell him that I will dedicate myself to training him. Izuku PV, I would love that, All Might, but I have to tell you something also. Bahamut saw my fight with Muscular and the Nomyu and was on his way to come train me. He said he was going to show me how to use my real power and that he was going to make me strong. All Might PV, what do you mean he saw the fight? Was he there? What does he mean that he is going to make you strong? Izuku PV, to be honest, I think he was pleased with me during my fight with Muscular. I had the opportunity to kill Muscular, but I didn't. I think that pleased him and he told me that he is going to train me how to properly use his power. He says I have a lot of potential. Ochako PV, when Izuku came home I could see that he is feeling better. Eri came running out of the room and jumped into his arms. Izuku, are you feeling better? Izuku PV, I'm feeling a lot better. I spoke with All Might and I'm feeling lighter right now. Have you heard from Momo today? I think I might have scared her off when I protected her. I saw the look of fear in her eyes. I don't think she was ready for the truth. Ochako POV, I did speak with her today. She said that she was working in a project for her family, but she will see us Monday. Momo POV, I see Izuku and Ochako walking up with A. Izuku looks at me and I see sadness in his eyes. I ask Izuku, is he okay? He looks down and I can see he is uncomfortable. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 POV. As I look away from Momo, I tell her I'm okay. Momo, how have you been? Momo POV. 𝐒𝐿, what's wrong? 𝐒𝐿 POV. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for scaring you and I understand if you don't want to live with us anymore. Momo POV. I look at 𝐒𝐿 and I touch his face. I'm so sorry. I should never have been afraid of you. I should have known that you would never hurt me. I've been working on a project for us. I hope that you like it. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I'm sorry, I thought that you stayed away from us because you didn't want to be with me anymore. Momo POV. I'm so sorry, I was working with 𝐒𝐿's dad. I know I should have called but I was working on a surprise. 𝐒𝐿 POV. Here. My dad works construction. What project would you need him for? Momo POV. We subcontracted his company for a very important project. You're going to hear more about it today. 𝐒𝐿. I hope that you can forgive me for making you feel bad. 𝐒𝐿. I also owe you an apology. I should have known better. You trust 𝐒𝐿 with your life and my not trusting him was me not trusting you. I hope that you can forgive me. I hope to earn your trust and when you're ready to tell me more 𝐒𝐿, I'll listen. 𝐒𝐿. Momo, I forgive you. There are things I will have to tell you soon but for now let's head to class. 𝐿𝐵. Daddy, I don't understand why Momo was saying she was sorry. Did she do something wrong? 𝐒𝐿 POV. No, she didn't do anything wrong. We had a misunderstanding and she wanted to make things right. But I was also in the wrong for not telling her more about me. I was waiting for her to move in with us before I told her. But I should have told her sooner now that I'm thinking about it. 𝐿𝐵. I still don't understand but I know that you look scary when you're angry. Your eyes change and your hair starts to stand straight. I remember the first time I saw your eyes change. It was when you saw my scars. The second time was when you fought the muscle guy. I wasn't scared of you but you do look scary. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I guess the first time I saw your eyes change it was under different circumstance. I didn't find them scary but they are intense. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I remembered when 𝐒𝐿 saw my eyes change and I begin to blush. Thank goodness we made it to class. I could see Momo get ready to ask me about my blush when Mr. 𝐒𝐿 walked in. Mr. 𝐒𝐿 POV. As the class sat down I told them about the new dorms that they would be moving into and that parents were notified and agreed to it. I tell the class to follow me and I take them to the new dorms. As the students enter their new dorms I tell 𝐒𝐿, 𝐒𝐿, Momo that they will be living somewhere else and to follow me. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I pick 𝐿𝐿 up and 𝐒𝐿 grabs my hand and Momo walks next to me as we follow Mr. 𝐒𝐿. He begins to lecture me on my actions and how I need to remember that I have a family that depends on me now and how I need to start making better decisions and not drag other people into danger with me. We walk up to a nice looking house. It was bigger than anything I was used to. I look at 𝐒𝐿. Her eyes were as wide as saucers. When I looked at Momo she looked proud. Mr. 𝐒𝐿 POV. This will be your new home while you attend UA. It's fully furnished and there's a playground in the back for A. Please go inside and if there's anything else you need please let me know and I'll submit the paperwork to get it for you. But for now I need to go into the dorms and lay down ground rules before Mineta gets any wrong ideas. 𝐒𝐿 POV. Momo, is this what you were working on with my father? Momo POV. Yes, I helped design the house. I wanted it to be perfect. I told your father what it was for and he personally built it with his most trusted crew. Do you want to see your room? It has toys in it. 𝐿𝐵 POV. Really? Which on is my room? 𝐒𝐿 POV. Hop along my little rabbit. 𝐿𝐵 POV. I'm not a rabbit, daddy. 𝐒𝐿. I look at 𝐿𝐵, smile and tell 𝐒𝐿 that she's not a rabbit and she ran off looking for her room. I look around and the living room was bigger than the apartment that we were living in and I begin to cry. 𝐒𝐿 POV. 𝐒𝐿, what's wrong? Why are you crying? 𝐒𝐿 POV. I can't help myself. I'm just so happy right now. Momo, thank you for hiring my dad for this. This is the nicest place I've ever lived. Momo POV. This was my dad's idea. This was his way of saying thank you. It has a fully stocked kitchen with top-of-the-line appliances. Our bedroom is also very nice. I can't wait for you to see it. 𝐒𝐿 POV. I hear 𝐿𝐵 say she found her room and I head off to find her. As I walk into her room I see her smiling. Her room looked like something from a dollhouse. I look at 𝐿𝐵 and asked her, do you like your room? 𝐿𝐵. I love it, daddy, but does that mean I don't get to sleep in the same room with you anymore? 𝐒𝐿 POV. Come here, my little rabbit. When she came to me I picked her up and looked her in her eyes. Are you still afraid to be alone? I felt her arms reaching around my neck as she pulled me into a hug. I could feel the fear in her. 𝐒𝐿 and Momo walked in as she told me yes. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 walked up to us and joined the hug and told her that she had nothing to be afraid of. Momo POV. As I look as the three of them together, I feel a little left out. Then I hear Izuku tell A that she was safe and that she should thank me for building this room just for her. I feel a lump in my throat. He always manages to involve me. I look at Eri and smile. I tell her the room is safe and it was built just for her, but if she was still scared she could sleep with us in our room until she felt safe in her new home. Eri POV. Do you mean it? Is it really safe? The bad man won't get me. Momo POV. I mean it, the bad man won't get you, plus we both know that you're daddy and your mommy and I won't let the bad man get you. Eri POV. If it's safe I would like to sleep in it tonight. Izuku POV. It's safe my little rabbit, plus I'll lay with you until you go to sleep. Eri POV. Okay daddy, I would like that. Izuku POV. Well, let's explore the rest of the house. 𝐒𝐭𝐴 POV. As we explored our new home I can see something is bothering Momo, so I pulled her to the side and asked what's wrong. Momo POV. Who's this bad man that Eri is so scared of? 𝐒𝐭𝐴 POV. Chisaki. He is a villain, he has bad things to her, she has the scars to prove it. She had nightmares for months. She would whimper and cry out in her sleep. She has gotten better but sometimes she still has nightmares. Momo POV. Wow, to be that young and have seen so much evil. Poor girl, is that why she is so attached to Izuku? 𝐒𝐴 POV. Yes, he saved her from him and she loves him like a father. She trusts him to save her when she is in trouble, just like when he saved her from Muscular at the camp. Izuku POV. Well, let's get our things and unpack and get set in. Overhaul POV. I hate having to meet up with people in such dirty places. As I meet up with Tomura Shigaraki. As I walk into the warehouse we begin to speak. I tell him about my plan to get Eri back. Shigaraki POV. Why is the girl so important to you? Overhaul POV. She is my property, it's a matter of principle. Nobody takes anything from me without my permission. I want what belongs to me, and now that the two major players are out of the picture I'm going to make plans to get her back. Once I get her back I will tell you about phase 2 of my plan. Shigaraki POV. You're going to waste your time on a little girl. Whatever, let me know when you're ready to talk business. Overhaul POV. I'll get a hold of you soon once I get my property back. Shigaraki POV. Whatever, I get up and walk away. I'll find out why that little is so important to him, but for now I have work on my plans. Izuku POV. When I woke up this morning I couldn't move. I had Momo on my left, 𝐒𝐿𝐴 on my right, and Eri was curled up around my head. I finally understand how a burrito feels. Eri must have came in last night while we were sleeping. As I get out of bed I try not to wake anyone up. I go to the woods and train. I use OFA and begin running to the trees. I begin propelling myself tree to tree at very high speeds. I focus on my arms and scales appear and they get dense. I go through a tree like a hot knife through butter. I try to think about new ways to apply my new powers. I realize that it's time for me to head back and get ready for class. I use one for all and I run for my house on campus. Momo POV. When I woke up I saw A snuggled up with 𝐒𝐿𝐴 and that Izuku was nowhere to be found, so I decided to take a quick shower while 𝐒𝐿𝐴 was still sleeping. I love the shower in our bedroom. It has clear glass panels, oversized shower. As I'm showering I see the door open and it was Izuku. We both froze for a second, then I saw him turn a deep red color. He was about to leave when I called him in. Izuku POV. As I enter the room I head straight for the shower. I didn't hear the water running. When I entered I saw Momo in the shower and I froze. I felt the temperature rise and I apologized and was about to close the door when she called me in. I asked her if she was sure and she said yes. Momo POV. Are you unpleased with me? I've never been in a relationship with anyone. Most guys are focused on my BRSTS. But not you, you always focus on me as a whole and treat me nice. But you don't look at me the way you look at 𝐒𝐿𝐴. I'm just afraid that you don't find me attractive. Izuku POV. To be honest with you Momo, you're very pretty. Yes, I'm nervous, but that's because I can't offer you anything but my love. I didn't want to come off as a perv only interested in your body. The only person I have ever dated was 𝐒𝐿𝐴, so I'm still nervous when it comes to being in a relationship. I want to learn more about you. I want you to feel loved, not just lusted after. That's why I wanted to take my time with you. Momo POV. Hearing this made me want him even more. He wants me, not my money, not my body, he wants me. I leave the water in the shower running and I walk over to Izuku. I take his hand and asked him if he wanted to shower with me. It was cute watching him blush. He said yes. I felt my heart start to pnd as he began to undress. I asked him to lock the door. Lemon warning third person PV. As Izuku locked the door, he continued to take off his clothes when he felt Momo's wet skin touch his, and he turned to her and kissed her. He reached up, grabbing one of her breasts and pulling her close with his other arm. When the kiss was finished, Momo reached down and took off his briefs and boxers on one shot and froze when she saw the size of his harden. Izuku began to kiss her again, lifting her up, this time carrying her into the shower. Once her back was against the wall, he put her down and told her that he wanted to taste his woman. He began kneeled down and kissed her body as he worked his way down. Momo lost herself in pure bliss. As soon as he got to her love hole, he began to like her CLT. She lost it. She begged him to stop before she lost it. This made him go faster until she came. As she covered her mouth to try not to yell out, he stood up and pressed her against the wall, lining himself up with her and gently penetrating her. As she felt her lover enter her, she began to bite down on him to keep herself from yelling, but he continued pushing himself in her, gently kissing her neck and caressing her biases until he was fully inside of her. Momo begged him to go, keep going, as he began to P&D her insides, and he whispered to her that he was about to come and shoved himself as deep as he could go in her. Momo screamed out and passed out as Izuku filled her WMB. End of lemon. Izuku, no, are you okay? She made some odd sounds, so I shut off the water and wrap her in a towel. I wrap a towel around my waist and carry Momo out. I see Ochako starting to wake up. As I set Momo down, she smiled at me as she said good morning. She looked at Momo and saw her inflated stomach and asked me did she take the pill. I start to blush and said I don't know. Ochako, okay, I'm going to take a shower. Can you please start getting Eri ready for school? Then you can join me in the shower. I want to make sure you're clean. I see Izuku blush an even deeper red. I get out of bed and start walking towards the bathroom, swaying my hips. Izuku, I can't stop looking at my little Mochi as she walked by me, swaying her hips. As she passed me, she gently caressed me face with her hand and continued walking towards the bathroom. I wake Eri up and started to get her ready for school. Then I head to the bathroom and join Ochako for a very nice shower. Momo PV. I wake up with Izuku kissing my forehead, telling me I need to start getting ready for school. I smile at him and sit up, but my legs are still very wobbly. Ochako asked me if I took a pill this morning, and I begin to blush. How did you know I had this room soundproofed? Ochako just smiled at me and said my stomach was still a little bloated, and she also slept with Izuku and know how I felt the first time she slept with him. Izuku POV. I leave the room on that note to go check up on Eri, and we all leave for school. I'm carrying Momo on my back as we head towards school. When we got closer, Momo asked me to put her down and she began walking the rest of the way. Eri asked me to carry her the way I was carrying Momo, so I kneeled down as she hopped onto my back and we continued. As we got to the school, I hear All Might call me and I put Eri down and go over to him. He asked me about my training and told me he wanted to talk with me after class.